On day 1, I spawned in as a lethal poison lizard in the middle of the deep dark Zelkova forest. Oh, I look like I'm one rad reptile, even though I'm just a little baby lizard. I wonder if I have any powers. I walked over to a tree and swiped at it. I didn't even have a tool or weapon, but it turned out I had a set of awesome poison claws that I could use for claw-based attacks. I certainly wouldn't want to mess with me. But just because I wouldn't mess with me doesn't mean other people wouldn't. This point was proven when a huge, dog-headed guy charged through the forest towards me.
You dares invade the overworld of the mighty Lord Anubis? You are a trespasser, and all trespassers will be annihilated.
Maybe we can work this out. What if I did some work for you? I'm really good at completing quests.
What kind of value would I ever find in a nasty little poison lizard? To have you in my royal sight disgusts me. I will crush you, destroy you, leave not even a memory of your presence. Prepare to meet your doom, lizard!
Before I could even try to reason with him, Anubis blasted a fireball near to me. I didn't feel like taking my chances. I just turned and ran off as fast as I could. Oh no, I'm gonna need to get strong enough to defeat that guy, or I'm toast. I guess being a poison lizard doesn't win you many friends right off the bat. I hid in the forest, but that didn't mean I was out of the woods yet, literally. On day 2, I continued my journey through the forest. It wasn't long until I felt my reptilian stomach rumble and decided that I needed to source some food. I don't see anything meaty around here, so I guess I'll settle for some fruit. Is there an apple tree anywhere near me? I searched for a little while until I found one, before striking it down with my poison claws and grabbing some yummy apples to eat. At least I know now that I won't keel over from hunger. It'll probably be that evil jackal god with the fireballs that does me in. Speaking of the devil, I saw a desiccated desert mummy walking out of the trees near to me. He didn't look friendly, I can tell you that much.
You must be the nasty little lizard that the great Lord Anubis told me about.
Of course you work for him, but why? He doesn't seem like he'd be a chill boss.
Fool! Anubis was the lord of the underworld, and with our help, he has conquered the overworld too. All who defy him must be eliminated.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I struck him with my poison claw attacks, but seeing that the desert mummy was already undead, my poison didn't affect him much. He was too strong. Uh-oh, all I could do was turn around and run, and I kept running until the desert mummy was fully out of sight. It was so frustrating to not be strong enough to defeat anyone. But when I stopped to rest, a ghost miner suddenly materialized right in front of me. Oh no, are you gonna attack me too?
No, Zozo. I am your spirit guide. It is up to me to help you fulfill your destiny.
My destiny?
It is unsafe to discuss here. Come with me.
He talked a good game, so I walked after the mysterious ghost miner. On day 3, the ghostly miner kept leading me through the Zelkova forest until we came upon a strange little cottage in the middle of the woods. This place seems a little suspicious.
This is the dwelling of the mystery sheep, Zozo. He is one of the allies that will help you along your journey to fulfilling your true destiny. Trust in me, and all will be okay in the end.
The ghost miner disappeared. He was certainly a strange guy, but who was I to disagree with the advice of my spirit guardian? Time to speak to the mystery sheep, I guess. I patiently waited at the door until it opened, and the mystery sheep trotted out.
What brings you here, stranger?
I was told to visit you by my spirit guide. He told me that you could help me fulfill my destiny.
Oh yes? And what is your destiny?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure, but it's gotta have something to do with defeating this Lord Anubis guy who attacked me as soon as I arrived.
Ah, Lord Anubis, an arrogant little god, and vain too. I can see why he would despise a little poison lizard like you. But there's good news in that, my friend. If he underestimates you, then you can take him by surprise. If you do that, then you may have a chance to defeat him.
With that advice, I left the cottage to go make my own way in the world. The mystery sheep is right. Underestimating me might be the worst mistake that Anubis ever made. From day 4 to day 5, I kept searching until I found a little clearing in the Zelkova forest, big enough to build a little base for myself. I'm never gonna get strong enough to defeat Anubis if I don't learn to be independent. But I can't accomplish my goals if I don't have the right tools. That's why I slashed down a tree and used its resources to build myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I didn't waste any time digging into the ground to collect some stone and craft myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. The stone sword will be useful if I run into another one of those freaky desert mummies. With my tool building work done for the day, I finally put some effort into building a little base. I made it out of wood and stone to keep it sturdy and made myself a little bedroom where I could relax when I wasn't out adventuring. My day's progress made my spirit guide, the ghost miner, materialize right in front of me.
Zozo, you have done well. Every step you take brings you closer to your destiny.
Thank you, Ghost Miner. Your advice has been super helpful.
Good. I have a gift for you. Take some of my ghostly energy and feel your power grow.
The Ghost Miner hit me with a blast of powerful spirit energy right in my face, and I could immediately feel myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 20 hearts, more powerful attacks, and the ability to fire poison blasts.
You will be the one to save us all, Zozo.
From day 6 to day 8, I ventured out of the Zelkova forest for the first time. I decided to wander around the Badlands, which had a warmer climate that's perfect for a cold-blooded poison lizard like me. Feels good to feel the warmth on my scales. But my trip to the Badlands wasn't just an exercise in pure escapism and relaxation. As I walked, I was suddenly ambushed by the same desert mummy who had attacked me earlier.
Time for some pest control. I'm going to destroy you once and for all, you nasty little poison lizard, for the glory of the great Lord Anubis.
I'm not gonna be that easy, Mr. Mummy. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be.
You think that matters to Lord Anubis? I'm just one of his mummy servants. Death is just the beginning, Zozo.
No, it's the end. I fired one of my poison blasts at the mummy to slow him down, then ran in with my stone sword to dash him and slash him until he poofed into nothing. That's what you get for bullying me, you beastly bundle of bandages.
I'm impressed, Zozo. Well done.
I turned and saw a mysterious forest guardian standing right behind me.
You have proven yourself to be a potential friend of the forest, my son. And if you help me rid this sacred place of evil, then I can give you wondrous prizes and powers. Do you agree to help me, Zozo?
That sounds like a great deal to me. Let's go. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the guardian of the forest deeper into the Badlands. It didn't take him long to lead me to a location where a huge, terrifying spider queen was waiting. That's what he wants me to slay? Yikes, I guess I'll try my best. I ran in and tried to mount a sneak attack on the Spider Queen, but my attacks weren't strong enough to leave any lasting damage, and I couldn't say the same for her attacks against me. I ran away as fast as I could until I rendezvoused with the Guardian of the Forest and told him what happened.
I'm sorry for sending you into danger like that, Zozo. All things considered, you're lucky to be alive. Perhaps being a poison lizard allowed you to have a greater immunity to her Spider Queen venom.
I think when I'm stronger, I'll be able to take her down. In the meantime, why don't you come and stay at my base? I really need to gain some allies right now for a battle I'm fighting against Lord Anubis right now.
Of course, you have assisted in my battle, so I will assist in yours. Lead the way, Zozo.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with the Guardian of the Forest. I immediately set to work, making him a room on the grounds of the base where he could stay while I was training. It wasn't all that impressive, but it was probably a decent place to get some rest at night. After I was done building, the Guardian came over to me with some good news.
I've built some upgrades for your base, Zozo, as an apology for putting you in a dangerous situation before. Go take a look.
The Guardian of the Forest had clearly used his supernatural powers to work fast. He'd built 3 upgrades, a chicken farm with a few chickens already herded inside, a storage room for spare equipment, and a furnace for smelting raw materials. This is incredible, thank you! And in fact, this gives me an idea. I went into a deep cave next to my base, and I explored inside until I found some iron ore, and used my stone pickaxe to mine it. Then, I went back to my base, used the furnace to smelt the ore into ingots, and turned those ingots into an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. I'm really moving up in the world! From day 13 to day 15, the Ghost Miner, my spirit guide, materialized into the base.
Zozo, you must return to the Badlands!
But why spirit guide?
Another one of Anubis's minions, the Desert Mummy, is waiting there. If you defeat him, you will ascend to the next level of strength.
As you wish, spirit guide. I ventured out to the Badlands again, and it didn't take me long to find the exact Desert Mummy that the Ghost Miner had told me about. I pulled out my new iron sword, ran in, and attacked until the Desert Mummy was no more. And this gave me enough XP to upgrade again and level up, getting me up to 30 hearts and giving me a bigger, stronger body and more powerful attacks. Whoa, the Ghost Miner is always worth listening to. From day 16 to day 19, I decided to go and explore the strange, eerie Weeping Witch Forest. It's like something out of a fairy tale, a really weird, spooky fairy tale. And it was an interesting place to explore anyway. It was cold and dark, and it felt like something eerie could pop out from around any corner. So it didn't surprise me when another desert mummy emerged right in front of me, ready to battle.
You have slain my undead brethren, but you won't slay me, Zozo. I will annihilate you in the name of my master, Lord Anubis.
I still don't understand why you're so desperate to destroy me. Doesn't your Lord Anubis have bigger fish to fry? He is a literal god after all.
Your presence offends him. We need no more reason than that to send you to the underworld, cold and lifeless.
Not if I send you first. I battled the desert mummy. Just like the mystery sheep said, the mummy had underestimated me, just like his boss. And in the end, I defeated him. Wait, did he drop some kind of note? I looked around and found a note that had been dropped by the destroyed mummy. It came straight from Anubis, and it said, "You bandaged buffoons have failed me for too long. You must destroy this Zozo before he gets stronger. If he reaches full power, his poison will be able to harm me. We cannot allow that. Destroy him now." So that's why he wants to destroy me so bad. I understand it now. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my favorite mining cave to collect some more iron ore for crafting purposes. All this iron will perfectly match my iron will. I took the ore back to my base and used my furnace to smelt it into some ingots. Soon after, I had myself a tough new iron chest plate. Now I can really take a mean punch. It's time to settle an old score and go squash that evil Spider Queen. Afterwards, I returned to the Badlands, where I'd first met the Guardian of the Forest and promised to him that I'd defeat the Spider Queen that'd been plaguing the area. A poison lizard always pays his debts. I arrived at the Spider Queen's location, and this time, I was truly ready. With my weapons and powers, I attacked and destroyed the Spider Queen once and for all, freeing the Badlands from her terror for good. But my terror was just beginning. After defeating the Spider Queen, I heard something coming quickly towards me. I turned around, and it was Anubis himself.
Zozo, you monster! You destroyed my pet spider! You are truly my arch enemy!
What? I didn't know she was your pet spider. I just knew she was terrorizing creatures of the Badlands.
Yes, because I told her to. I have even more reasons to destroy you now.
I know the actual truth, Anubis. I know that if I get to my full power, my poison will be able to destroy you.
Oh yes, but you'll never get strong enough to be a threat to me. I'll destroy you first.
Anubis blasted me with fireballs, and I ran away as fast as I could. From day 23 to day 26, I managed to get back to my base in the forest with barely a scratch. Anubis had given up chasing me, but only for the time being. Even if he wasn't on my tail now, he was still out there and knew that I could put a stop to his evil plans if I just got stronger. And luckily for me, that was already happening. I met with the Guardian of the Forest again.
You've done well to slay the Spider Queen, Zozo.
Thanks. I didn't realize she was the pet of Anubis. But hey, without his creepy crawly, he's more vulnerable, right?
We can only hope, Zozo.
I was on a roll, and I couldn't stop now. I headed back to the mines to search for more materials and came across some more iron ore buried underground. I already have an iron sword, pickaxe, and chestplate. What else could come in handy? Oh, a helmet! That would be perfect, having some added armor to protect me. So I turned the iron ore into ingots and crafted myself a brand new helmet. That's when the ghost miner materialized again.
Zozo, come and see.
What is it? I followed my spirit guide. He'd been working on improving my base while I'd been off on my adventures. We'd now had a whole security bunker safe near the main base, a place where we could be secure just in case Anubis' forces ever tried to overrun our base. The bunker was nice and fortified, so they would have had no chance of ever getting in, and we could be nice and protected inside. From day 27 to day 31, I made the decision to venture back towards the Weeping Witch Forest. Even though I'd gotten rid of that nasty desert mummy the last time I was there, the whole place still gave me the creeps. Suddenly, I heard a faint voice, so I looked around to figure out where their voice was coming from. As I turned around, I was startled to see a gigantic axolotl right behind me. Whoa, don't sneak up on me like that.
Oh no, sorry about that, man. People usually spot me coming. On the count of me being a big, bright pink axolotl, didn't mean to startle you.
That's okay. Just tell me you're not working for that big jackal jerk Anubis.
Oh, no, man. In fact, I just wanted to come and say thanks for taking care of that desert mummy of his. Us amphibians and reptiles have got to stick together, right? That mummy destroyed my home, so I'm glad to be rid of him.
Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Aw, thanks, man.
Well, me and Big Axolotl were heading home. He had tons of suggestions about how I could make my base more homey with some new couches and bookshelves. Once we got home, I started to add his suggestions to the base, adding some couches and some bookshelves to liven up the place.
I actually have a real passion for interior design.
After I left Big Axolotl to relax, the ghost miner reappeared.
Zozo, I have another task for you, my son.
What is it? More trouble?
Indeed, I sense there are more of Anubis's forces nearby. We must act swiftly.
From day 32 to day 35, my spirit guide and I both left the safety of my base and headed back to where I had met the mystery sheep. According to the ghostly miner, the poor sheep was under siege from more of Anubis's dastardly desert mummies. The mystery sheep had given me some helpful advice before and offered me guidance when I wasn't sure what my destiny was, so the least I could do to repay him was help him out in his time of need.
Help! Someone, please help!
We arrived at the mystery sheep's dwelling, only to see it was swarming with desert mummies. I had only ever beaten a couple of them before, and only in one-on-one fights. But I had been getting stronger, and my confidence was already increasing, so I leapt into battle! I swiped my iron sword at the mummies, launching a few poison attacks, while making sure the ones up close got a taste of the full fury of my improved combat skills. I took out one and another, but while I was busy fighting my way through them, some of the desert mummies went after the mystery sheep.
Zozo, things look bad. It may be too late for me. Remember your destiny. I know you won't let us down.
I wasn't able to save the mystery sheep. Even by the time I had defeated the other desert mummies, there was no one feeling more defeated than me. From day 36 to day 39, I left to clear my head. The ghost miner offered to come with me so he could comfort me in the wake of losing the mystery sheep, but I told him I'd rather be on my own for a while. I decided I'd head back to the Badlands, feel some more warm sunlight on my scaly lizard skin, in the hopes that might cheer me up. I was contemplating what had gone wrong. I was stronger, but not strong enough to save my friend. Suddenly, while I was thinking to myself, a phantom fox appeared. Greetings, Zozo. I am Phantom Fox, a spirit of swiftness. I know you are grieving the loss of the mystery sheep, but I have a task you must complete. Okay, I know the mystery sheep wanted me to make everyone proud, so I guess me carrying on getting stronger is what he would have wanted. The Phantom Fox led me toward another of Anubis's minions, an Endergast from the Jackal God's underworld. I ran towards it, prepared to fight, and readied my poison attacks. But I quickly found out that my poison had no effect on the Endergast. So my sword had to do, and with a few strong swings, I was able to defeat the ghastly minion. Well done, Zozo. I know that the mystery sheep would be proud. He and all the other spirits are counting on you to defeat the one who turned on us. You mean Anubis was once one of you? Indeed, but he betrayed us and took control of the underworld, becoming its god. Now, he'll stop at nothing to expand his power up here and control everything that is, that was, and that will be. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way back to my base in the Zelkova forest. I was still feeling sad about the loss of the mystery sheep, but a little better after chatting with the Phantom Fox. But any of my sadness quickly disappeared when I saw what awaited me. My friend, the guardian of the forest, had been working on improving my base to cheer me up. The place had been adorned with plenty of pretty banners draped over the walls to decorate the place. Wow, this place looks great! What made you want to go to all this trouble?
Well, Zozo, I knew you needed your spirits lifted after losing an ally, and by improving the look of our base, I hoped it might bring new allies to us so that we can honor the mystery sheep and stand up to Anubis once and for all.
Decorating the base clearly worked, because a little while later, a spider llama arrived looking for a place to stay, so I gladly let them join us. When the day was almost done, I was finally approached by the big axolotl.
Hey man, listen, I've got a favor to ask. I left some of my special netherite ingots back in the Weeping Witch Forest after my old home was destroyed. Think you could help me get them back?
From day 44 to day 49, I headed back to the Weeping Witch Forest to recover the netherite ingots that Big Axolotl had sent me to look for. He still seemed a little uneasy about heading back to where he'd used to live, just in case there were more of Anubis's desert mummies creeping around the place. So I agreed to take on the task. After all, Big Axolotl was a cool guy, and he'd made some really nice improvements to my base, so I thought I'd return the favor to my friend. But I hadn't made it far before Anubis came bursting out behind the trees to ambush me. I knew there was something creepy about this place.
There you are, pesky little poison lizard. You've been trying to get yourself stronger, and I can't have that.
Scared of my poison then?
On the contrary, I have more important things to do than waste my time on a little pest like you. For once I control both the overworld and the underworld, I'll be able to have full control over who lives and dies.
You can't do that. That'd make you a monster.
Oh, you want a monster? I'll show you a monster.
Anubis vanished, but left a powerful warped phantom in his place. I was about to have one heck of a tough fight on my hands against this monster. From day 50 to day 53, I defended myself against the warped phantom's attacks. Since it was a creature straight from Anubis's underworld, it could blast bolts of powerful undead spirit energy at me. I tried my best to fend it off, retreating deeper into the Weeping Witch Forest to try and regain my health and come up with a better plan of attack. But the warped phantom wasn't giving up the pursuit.
You can run all you like, little lizard. My master, Lord Anubis, has told me not to return until you are destroyed.
I used the cover of the trees to stay out of the phantom's line of sight, sneaking around so that I could outflank it and take it by surprise. My plan worked, and I caught the warped phantom off guard and was barely just able to defeat it. But when I did, I noticed it had dropped something. It was a map with directions that led right to Anubis's pyramid. It wasn't a desert biome though, it was all the way over in the snowy taiga. Of course, Anubis might be the god of the underworld, but all his minions and mummies up here in the overworld are undead, so he must have needed to keep them cold. Now I knew where I could find that jackal-headed jerk when the time came to take him on. From day 54 to day 57, I did my best to find my bearings and get back on task to find the netherite ingots my friend Big Axolotl had stashed. But when I got to Big Axolotl's stash, there was a new problem blocking my path: a swarm of fire guardians. These things looked like they would be a tough fight, so I decided to use the same tactic that had helped me beat the warped phantom. I snuck up on them, and before they spotted me coming, I leapt into battle. I used my poisonous attacks, and they worked. The poison slowed the fire guardians down and allowed me to have the upper hand. One by one, I extinguished their flames, and after I defeated them, I looted the netherite ingots from the stash and headed back to the base to return them to my friend, and he was thrilled.
Oh, thanks so much, man. You hang on to them. I didn't really need them, but I thought they'd come in handy for you.
So that's why you sent me to get them.
Yeah, I told you before. We amphibians and reptiles have to look out for each other.
From day 58 to day 62, now that I was back at the safety of the base, I decided it would be best to stick around and work on improving things. After all, if the banners the Forest Guardian had put up were going to bring in more allies, then we'd need to be able to feed everyone. I used some wood to craft fences and expanded the chicken farm at the base, so that we had plenty of room for the chickens to lay loads of eggs for everyone. Who doesn't love eggs for breakfast? It was after I'd worked on expanding the chicken farm that I noticed the state of my iron armor. It had seen a lot of action, and all the bumps and batterings of battle had whittled away at its condition. This wasn't going to keep me protected for much longer, so I headed off back to the mine to search for something stronger. And sure enough, digging deeper, I found some diamonds. Bringing them back to the base, I turned them into a fresh new set of diamond armor and a sword and pickaxe to match. Now I had way more defense against Anubis's undead cronies, my sword could do much more damage against them too, and my new pickaxe would make gathering resources all the easier.
Zozo, behold our latest addition.
My spirit guide, the ghostly miner, showed me around the base's brand new party room. We could gather all our allies here, either to have a good time as friends, or coordinate who would be heading out on adventures, who would be gathering resources, and upgrading the base. Wow, this place is looking great! You must have been listening to Big Axolotl's interior decorating tips. From day 63 to day 66, the Guardian of the Forest had some suggestions for where I should head next.
You still have a ways to go, but time is on our side. While Anubis is regaining his forces and planning his next move, yours should be getting stronger. Head to the desert, Zozo. It can be a harsh place, but the heat there should invigorate a cold-blooded lizard such as yourself. And perhaps you will encounter some new challenges to improve your skills and grow your strength.
And so, I headed off in the direction of the desert. There didn't seem to be much there, mostly just lots of sand. It was coarse and rough, and it got everywhere, but at least here, there was plenty of sunlight to warm me up. All of a sudden, I was startled by an abrupt growling coming from nearby. I drew my diamond sword, trusting it could fight off whatever was coming. I was greeted with the sight of a wolfman and expected him to be one of Anubis's allies.
Relax, friend. I mean you no harm.
Oh, that was surprising. It turned out the wolfman was friendly.
Actually, I've been looking for someone to help me with something, and you seem like just the lizard for the job. What do you say? You up for it?
Sure thing. I came here to get stronger, so let's get to it. From day 67 to day 70, the wolfman led me to an open plain in the middle of the desert.
You see, there's these pesky soul blazes. They attacked me and took all my armor and weapons. I have claw attacks like you, but there are too many of them for me to fight alone, especially without protection from armor. So what I need you to do is draw their attention while I grab my stuff. Then I can help you take the rest of them out.
So, when we spotted the soul blazes, I rushed straight at them. They all turned and charged towards me as I swung my diamond sword and started dishing out much more damage than ever before. Meanwhile, as I battled the soul blazes, my new wolfman friend used his wolf speed to get closer to his gear that laid on the ground. He hurriedly got it all on while I chopped at the soul blazes, and with our combined might, we reduced them to dust.
Awesome! What a great fight! You can really hold your own.
I'm glad I could help. From day 71 to day 74, I was in the snowy taiga biome, feeling much tougher than I had when I started. All the hype that the wolfman had given me made me think I was about ready to take on Anubis himself. I used the map to make my way toward Anubis's pyramid. It was way more accurate than some of the old wooden signs I passed. One of them said, if you like this video, then you can find more by clicking on our channel or searching Zozo. Once I'd made it closer, I started to feel strange, like I was maybe a little tired. But that all went to the back of my mind the moment I saw Anubis's pyramid, towering over the rest of the frosty landscape. And I didn't have to get much closer for the underworld god to rear his ugly jackal head.
So you've come to give yourself up already, filthy poison lizard?
Nope. I'm a lot stronger now, Anubis. I came to give you a nice big dose of poison and stop all your crazy schemes.
You will try, I'm sure.
We clashed head on, and I took some swings with my diamond sword. But it felt heavier all of a sudden, and so did my armor. Like I was somehow weaker. Of course, it was the cold weather. This place wasn't just perfect for keeping Anubis's undead minions on ice, but the environment of the snowy taiga also made it harder for me to fight him. He dealt me some pretty bad damage, so I had no choice but to retreat for now. From day 75 to day 78, I made the long trek back to my base in the Zelkova forest. The whole time I felt glum. I had been so eager to take on Anubis, but in doing so, I had overlooked one of his major advantages over me. It didn't seem to matter how much stronger I got now, I would still be a poison lizard. And that was why Anubis had set up his pyramid in the snowy taiga. The longer I was in that place, the more dangerous it became for me, thanks to my cold reptilian blood. I didn't even feel like talking to anyone once I was back in the base. Instead, I just went to my room to be on my own for a while. Until, of course, the ghost miner materialized.
Zozo, don't be disheartened. There will be another opportunity to stop Anubis. For now, come and see. We've all been working hard to make some new improvements to protect this place.
I didn't really feel like it, but I let the ghost miner show me around. The base now had a tall watchtower reaching high up above the forest's tree line, so we could keep a lookout for any approaching danger. Even though I was feeling down, I had to admit it was pretty neat. Then, the big axolotl came to speak to me alone.
Hey man, don't worry. Nobody stays down in the dumps for too long. I got you this. Thought it might help. Consider it a thank you for all you've done for me.
Big Axolotl had given me a magic apple. It really did lift my spirits some more. I was lucky to have him as a friend, and even luckier when I ate the magic apple. I felt the magic from the apple transform me into a larger poison lizard, giving me 60 hearts and even a new power, a jump boost, so I could leap even higher on my reptilian legs. From day 79 to day 84, I was ready to pick myself up and try to take on Anubis again. My extra hearts would have made it easier to survive the snowy taiga, and now I had my jump boost. I could get up in the air right into his smug jackal face, and his attacks would miss me. When I made it back, there was no sign of him though, but a pack of thorn wolves tried to take some bites at me, so I showed off some of my newfound strength. They were no match for me.
My, very impressive.
I turned around to see a huge creeper spider. I kept my guard up, but then realized that if they were going to harm me, they could have used the element of surprise when I was fighting the wolves. Instead, the creeper spider offered to show me around the snowy taiga, teaching me a few tricks for staying warm while I was traversing this frosty part of the overworld. But best of all, they showed me how I could use some of Big Axolotl's netherite ingots. By combining them with my diamond sword, I had now made an even more powerful weapon, a netherite sword. From day 85 to day 89, I was heading back to my base to tell my friends the good news, but I was shocked by what awaited me. There was a horde of desert mummies attacking the base. With no time to waste, I rushed into battle to defend my home and my friends from the bandaged baddies. Luckily, my blade of netherite cleaved through most of them with one swing. Seeing I'd taken their numbers down, the remaining desert mummies ran off into the forest. I couldn't let them get away. If they made it back to the snowy taiga, they could tell Anubis exactly where to find my base, and he'd send even more powerful mobs to harm my friends. I rushed after them into the forest. They were a ways ahead of me, and before long, my base had disappeared from view behind all the trees, and so had the desert mummies. Darn it, I had to figure out a way to stop them. While searching the forest, I came across a villager. Hey, have you seen any of Anubis's mummies go this way?
Oh, I have. Please get rid of those horrid undead things.
They pointed me in a direction, but the mummies who'd been causing the villager trouble were a different group. Still, they were Anubis's minions, so I thought it'd be better to take them out nice and quick. My netherite sword made light work of them, and then I kept up the trail of the others, hoping I could reach them in time. From day 90 to day 94, I had been following the desert mummies for quite some time, all the way to the snowy taiga. Oh no, it was too late. They'd be able to report back to Anubis about where my base was. I made sure not to get too close as they approached the Jackal God's pyramid, where they were greeted by a huge beast, a vile ogre.
Good job tracking that poisonous lizard. I will head to that base and destroy what's left on behalf of Lord Anubis. Go and report your findings to him.
Not so fast. I leaped out of cover and stood in the way of the vile ogre.
Ah, there you are. Lord Anubis will be pleased when I tell him you've been destroyed. Do you even know who you're messing with, reptile? I'm Vile Ogre, Anubis's #1 henchman.
Tougher than my poison and netherite sword? From day 95 to day 97, my fight against the vile ogre started. He was bigger and stronger than me, but I had to remind myself that so was I. I'd come a long way since my humble beginnings, but even more importantly, I wasn't fighting just for myself this time. I was fighting to defend my friends who had all worked tirelessly to improve my base, who had helped me persevere when I thought Anubis might beat me, and who had been there for me at my darkest moments. They all deserved protecting, so every swing of my netherite sword or blast of my poison attacks was for them. Luckily for me, the vile ogre didn't realize just how familiar I was with the snowy taiga, thanks to the lessons I'd had from the creeper spider. I was able to use the landscape to my advantage, finding some higher ground that I could leap off of with my jump boost. It sent me high into the air and allowed me to get the jump on him, so to speak. I was able to give him one last strike with my netherite sword and a blast of poison to weaken him.
You bested me. How? How is that possible? Lord Anubis promised I'd be heralded in his new world.
He lied. You and I both know he's not the type to keep his word. He betrayed all the other spirits when he took control of the underworld. My poison will whittle away your remaining health in the next few minutes. Maybe think about using that time wisely.
Fine. Anubis resides in a chamber in the heart of his pyramid, surrounded by his undead armies. You'll never make it to him. You're just one lizard, all alone.
Who said I'd be alone? With the vile ogre defeated, I knew my time to take on Anubis for the final time would soon be at hand. But I was more determined than ever to beat him. I just needed a little help from my friends. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to see that my allies had already made repairs after the desert mummies had attacked. Since I didn't have to worry about repairs, I went to take a quick rest before the big battle. And just like that, the ghost miner appeared to give words of wisdom afterwards.
You've come quite a long way, Zozo. I am very proud, and the mystery sheep would be too.
Thanks. I couldn't have made it this far without such a great spirit guide. I won't let you down. I'll get to Anubis and put a stop to his plans once and for all. The guardian of the forest also had some wisdom to impart to me before I set off on the last part of my journey.
Remember, Zozo, that wherever you are, your true friend will always be with you. Even if we aren't by your side, we can still take us everywhere we go. We all live in the hearts of those that matter to us, and we care about you just as you care about all of those you've helped.
I'll remember. Thanks for everything. And last, but by no means least, my friend, Big Axolotl, seemed to get a bit emotional just as I was about to leave.
Just look after yourself, Zozo, man. You're gonna do great. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Oh man, I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
On day 99, I made my final return to the Snowy Taiga, prepared for a final showdown with Anubis. The Forest Guardian was right. I had all my friends with me, and I was fighting to keep them safe. Not just them, but everyone in the overworld. If Anubis got his way, he'd be in control of life and death, and I couldn't let that happen. Even to strangers, because they say a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. There was a huge horde of desert mummies waiting for me as I arrived at the pyramid. The cold was making them a little tougher than usual, but hopefully it wouldn't take more than a few strikes of my netherite sword to get through them. Suddenly, before I could get down to the fight, I was stopped by the Wolfman.
Come on, Zozo. Did you really think I'd leave this fight all to you? Can't let you have all the fun. Hey, nice new sword. That looks awesome.
Thanks, it's still pretty new.
You go on ahead, Zozo, my friend. I'll take these dusty old clowns. Go give that jackal jerk what for?
The Wolfman rushed in and led the desert mummies away as I ran in to confront Anubis. On day 100, I finally came face to face with Anubis at the center of his pyramid.
You accursed reptile! You really think you can put a stop to my plans? I am Anubis, god of the underworld, and soon the ruler of the overworld too. You are nothing, just a little lizard with no hope of defeating me.
You talk a big game, but you've been scared of me from the start. You tried to stop me from getting stronger at every turn. That tells me that my poison really can stop you.
Not if I destroy you first.
The final battle was at hand. Anubis came in quick with fast, powerful attacks, so I had to take up my sword to defend against him. He was ferocious. Part of me wondered if I could really beat him. My netherite sword was just enough to deflect his blows, but I couldn't get a good swipe in on him. He was just too quick. But I knew I had to stop Anubis once and for all. I leaped high into the air with my jump boost and launched the strongest poison attack I'd ever made. It blasted Anubis right in the face, and the poison started to immediately take effect. It chipped away at his health more and more, enough for me to jump back towards him and land a final blow with my netherite sword. I've done it! I survived 100 days and defeated Anubis once and for all! The overworld was saved from this jackal-headed jerk. I had fulfilled my destiny, and most importantly, protected all of my friends too. On day 1, I spawned into the ancient forest as a super cool elemental wolf, a wolf spirit tuned into the power of the elements. This is awesome! And I've got 10 hearts too. That's so exciting. I wonder what I can do. I concentrated hard and blasted a powerful ball of energy. This would be an excellent weapon if anybody tried to attack me. And that was exactly what happened. A ghast floated out between the trees before me. What? Why are you here? Aren't ghasts supposed to stay in the nether?
You know nothing, little wolf. The world is changing, and the wheel of time turns on the command of our master, Fungi the Mushroom Lord. Will you swear your allegiance to him?
What? Fungi the Mushroom Lord? I'm not gonna swear allegiance to anyone if I don't know what they stand for.
If you are not the servant of the Mushroom Lord, then you are his enemy, and it is my duty to destroy his enemies. All glory to the Mushroom Lord!
The ghast started firing deadly fireballs at me. I was lucky that with my elemental powers, I took less elemental damage from the fire than a normal wolf did. I turned and ran as fast as I could, losing the ghast somewhere behind me. I wasn't expecting to get attacked so early, and who was this Fungi the Mushroom Lord? Before I could take the time to process any of this, zombies came shambling towards me out of the trees. In a moment of panic, I hit them with an energy blast, destroying them. Using my powers like this is exhausting. I need to find somewhere to sleep and figure all of this mess out. I found some shade beneath the tree and laid down to get some sleep. On day 2, I woke up from under the tree and went exploring the ancient forest. It seemed that this experience wouldn't be as awesome as I thought. I need to find out everything I can about this Mushroom Lord and why nightmarish nether creatures like the ghast are serving him. But first, seeing as how my powers exhaust me, I need some tools and some food. I started on the tools first. In the ancient forest, I was completely surrounded by trees. That's why it was so easy to break one of them down and collect enough wood to make myself a trusty wood pickaxe. Well, not that trusty, but it's a decent means to an end. I used the pickaxe to mine up some of the stone blocks. Between the stone and some spare sticks, I soon had a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. Not quite as defenseless now. That brings me some small comfort at least. I continued exploring the forest with my new tools until I happened upon an evoker standing in a clearing. I approached to ask him a few questions. Greetings, proud evoker. I'm Zozo, the elemental wolf. I have an important question to ask you, but first, an even more important question. Do you have any food?
Of course, Zozo. Here, have some of this meat. It's what a growing wolf needs.
The evoker gave me some meat, which I ate, seeing my hunger bar replenish. Thank you for this great kindness. And as for the other question, do you know anything about Fungi the Mushroom Lord? I ran into his ghast. He seems like some kind of threat to this land.
You speak the truth, Zozo. Fungi is a great evil. Some say he rose up from the deep dark. Others say he was grown in some kind of fungal patch of pure evil. All we know for sure is that he controls mutants, monsters, and abominations across the world. And if he isn't stopped, the entire overworld will descend into corruption and filth.
That sounds like a job for a certain elemental wolf. Rest assured, evoker, over the next 100 days, Fungi the Mushroom Lord will be defeated. On day 3, I knew that I needed to seek shelter. I couldn't hope to defeat the mushroom monster if I didn't have a place to rest and hone my abilities. As an elemental wolf, I have deep knowledge of the ancestral home of the elemental wolves in the ancient forest. Perhaps I could seek shelter there. But when I arrived at the ancestral home, I was devastated to find that it was already in ruins. It looked like nobody had really lived there in centuries. This must mean I'm the last and only elemental wolf. No matter, I have a duty and I still need to see it through. I'll rebuild the ancestral home myself. I crafted a stone axe and chopped down trees to gather raw materials, then set about painstakingly repairing the broken ancestral home until it was a brand new base of mine. For a brief period, I took a break to admire how the work was coming along when a huge, vicious giant came charging out of the woods. He must have been another one of the Mushroom Lord's monsters. While the giant was big and I was small, I didn't back down. I held my ground and fought back against the huge creature until he was no more. And this act of heroism gave me the power I needed to become bigger and stronger. I also rose up to 20 hearts and gained the elemental ability to breathe fire. Yes, this is more like it. I spent the rest of the day finishing up work on the base, proud of myself for how well it was all developing. From day 4 to day 5, I ventured out further into the forest, wanting to find more wood and stone that would help me rebuild the ancestral home to its former glory. When I have a fortress that's truly fit for an elemental wolf, it'll give me the confidence I need to vanquish the Mushroom Lord and save the world. But I must have been talking about saving the Mushroom Lord a little too loudly, because suddenly, the same ghast I'd run away from earlier had popped out of the trees.
You insolent brat! You have no idea the power you're messing with! The Mushroom Lord is a god, and you are a mere ant!
Why are you so devoted to serving that nasty toadstool?
You have no idea the power he commands! They say he cannot be destroyed, and all who face him are doomed to fall ill and wither away! Such is his supreme toxic power!
The only thing that's toxic to your devotion is this evil wannabe ruler. So how about we cut the talk and fight this one out?
That's the first intelligent thing you've said all day.
The ghast was a formidable foe with his deadly exploding fireballs, but in the end, it was my elemental energy blast that won the day. The ghast was defeated, and I gathered up the materials I'd come to collect before making my way back to my base. From day 6 to day 8, I ventured into a deep, dark mine network that contained many treasures, secrets, and deadly enemies. I crept through carefully, trying not to attract any unwanted attention. I was here for one thing and one thing only: some valuable iron ore, perfect for upgrading my weapons. We'll see who wins, gross squishy mushrooms or reliable cold iron. I looked up after the mining was done, hearing footsteps. It was a ghost miner walking towards me out of the darkness. But once again, I wasn't going to fold. I unleashed my elemental flame breath on the ghost miner, easily defeating it. Then I proceeded further into the dusty old cave where I found an abandoned furnace. There I forged an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. The Mushroom Lord is gonna love these, I'm sure. From day 9 to day 10, I decided to leave the cave and the ancient forest and explore the autumnal valley. It's been an intense few days. I think I need to go to a nice, calm place and clear my head so I can make a plan of action. But because the universe has a cruel sense of humor, during this mission of relaxation, I found Fungi the Mushroom Lord himself waiting for me. A huge, terrifying fungus man.
Ah, so you're the little cub they call Zozo. You're far less impressive than I was led to believe. Such a shame. I thought having an interesting challenger might liven up this whole process.
This process being…
The great change. I will alter and rebuild this sad little world in my own image. So far, none have offered up a meaningful challenge, and I don't expect that you will change this.
Allow me to prove you wrong, Fungi. I unleashed my strongest attacks on him, Energy Blast, Fire Breath, and even the strikes with my new Iron Sword. But it had no effect. That's when he struck me with an Energy Blast of his own that almost destroyed me. All I could do was run away in terror. I ran as fast as my elemental wolf legs could carry me. Even when I could no longer see Fungi the Mushroom Lord, I still felt terrified of him. I don't think I'd ever been so close to total destruction. In my darkest moment yet, an air elemental appeared.
Be calm, child. Fear will not save you here.
How could I be calm? I couldn't even slightly hurt him, and hurting me was nothing to him. I'm outclassed here.
But Zozo, you're the only one who can defeat him. Do you not know of the prophecy about the elemental wolf?
Prophecy? Look, I don't want to talk here. He could pop up at any time. Come back to my base with me, the ancestral home of the elemental wolves. We'll talk more there. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base to find the air elemental already there waiting for me. How did you do that?
I'm an air elemental, young Zozo. I can move as swift and silently as the wind.
Then I guess I better build you a new room. Right now, there's only one for me.
That would be much appreciated, Zozo.
I spent the rest of the afternoon building the air elemental a new room in the ancestral home. When it was done, he fitted in there nicely.
You have done well, Zozo. Allow me to give you your first mission. You must source armor.
But wolves can't wear armor, air elemental. What use would armor give me?
You're not going to wear it, Zozo. You're going to keep it in the chest at the ancestral home. Having it in there will harden the strength of your spirit. It's an ancient tradition, you see.
Very well, Master. I shall do this.
Good. Take this potion of strength should you encounter trouble on your way.
I returned to the cave where I mined for more iron ore. However, my little adventure was interrupted by a huge, terrifying deadworm burrowing through the ground towards me. I tried to shoot it with an energy blast, but it resisted the attack. I needed to quickly drink the potion of strength the air elemental had given me. That gave me the boost I needed to pull out my sword and finally defeat the beast. Then, I took the iron ore down to the underground furnace and smelted it into a full set of iron armor and finished my tool set. After that, I went back to my base and the air elemental created a chest in my room. I put all my new iron armor inside and just hoped that the air elemental was right. I'll take anything that can help me right now. From day 13 to day 15, I convened with the air elemental in his room. He told me that he wanted to tell me about the prophecy he had mentioned earlier. You said something about an elemental wolf prophecy?
Yes, that I did. It's an ancient one that I studied back when I was a mere monk, before ascending to the level of air elemental. The prophecy says that a darkness would rise up from the ground and spread evil and tyranny across the overworld. Many would fall, but in the end, a great hero, the final elemental wolf, would rise up, discover his true power, and turn back to the dark. I believe that prophesied one is you, Zozo.
But, that's impossible! The last time I fought Fungi the Mushroom Lord, I didn't leave a scratch on him, and he almost destroyed me! I can't be the one from the prophecy!
You can be, and I truly believe you are, Zozo. But you must train hard and fight with all you have. Only then can you stand a chance against the terror that faces you. Are you up for the challenge?
I'll have to think about it. From day 16 to day 19, I woke up to find that the base was eerily quiet. I searched around, but I couldn't find the air elemental anywhere. This isn't good. I sense that something terrible has happened. I need to follow my elemental intuition and find him before it gets any worse. I followed my senses out to the cold swamplands. There, I couldn't help but feel paranoid. It was like I was being watched every step I took. And those senses paid off because suddenly an ender creeper teleported in front of me.
The Mushroom Lord was right. You fell right into our trap, little silly woofy. And you think you're gonna be the one who defeats him? Embarrassing!
What did you do with the air elemental? If you hurt him,
You'll what? There's nothing you can do. Nothing except be destroyed.
The Ender Creeper ran at me, preparing to explode. He probably would have blown up half the swamplands if I hadn't hit him with a quick energy blast, destroying him before he had a chance to destroy me. Man, the people that the Mushroom Lord are sending after me really are dangerous. Suddenly, the air elemental popped out of nowhere. He must have been bound by some kind of dark magic until I defeated that awful Ender Creeper.
Zozo, you saved me! You're a true hero! Thank you so much for this!
Master Air Elemental, I'm so happy you're alive! This is amazing news!
I'm going to return to the base to regain my strength. Stay safe out here, Zozo. Fun Guy the Mushroom Lord has agents everywhere.
The air elemental left, and I continued exploring the eerie cold swamplands. During my search, I found a few zombies and was able to defeat them with my deadly iron sword. That gave me enough XP to level up again, becoming bigger, stronger, going as high as 30 hearts, and gaining a new ability, claw attacks. That feels appropriate for a wolf. I decided to leave the swamp, but on the way out, I ran into a wise-looking gold pig.
You seem like you're in a hurry, son.
Of course I am. I'm going to defeat Fungi the Mushroom Lord.
No, you're not.
What? Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Fungi the Mushroom Lord is a monster of pure evil. He's literally invincible. Unless you have the halo, which is almost impossible to get, there's no way you can beat him.
Oh. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my base, only to see a couple more zombies milling around the grounds. The corruption of Fungi the Mushroom Lord seems to spread everywhere. I used my claw attacks to destroy the two zombies, then slinked off to my room, feeling defeated. Maybe there really was no way for me to defeat the Mushroom Lord. Maybe the prophecy was all nonsense. As if sensing my self-doubt, the air elemental wafted towards me.
Zozo, I've been working on something for you. I wanted to wait until it was done, but I think you need to see it now. It's a statue, a kind of monument, meant to inspire you and remind you of your inner strength. Perhaps you can help me finish it.
I went out behind my base and saw the beginnings of a statue. Already, it was amazing, even awe-inspiring. I felt so grateful to the air elemental for everything he'd done. Can you guess what it is yet? If you can, tell me down in the comments. And while you're down there, remember to subscribe to Zozo and hit the bell to make sure you never miss one of our adventures. From day 23 to day 26, a swarm of gas floated towards my base, launching explosive fireballs, trying to damage the statue we'd been working on.
Oh no! More of the Mushroom Lord's minions!
Don't worry, I'll handle them.
Be careful, Zozo.
I leaped into action. I had already taken on one gas, so I was feeling pretty confident about this fight. But they outnumbered me. I had to be careful not to take any hits. Since they'd come from the nether, the gas managed to resist my fire breath. But luckily, my energy blast seemed to do the trick. One of them even dropped an item I'd never seen before, a fire aspect enchantment for my sword. Wow, this is so cool. I'd better try it out. I ventured off to the Autumnal Valley to practice my new fire aspect sword on a horde of meandering zombies. Each hit of my new weapon made them burst into flames. Once the zombies were dispatched, a mysterious stranger approached me.
Wow, that's a mighty impressive blade you've got there.
Thanks. Who are you?
Well, I'm a weaponsmith, see? I specialize in quality crafted swords, bows, you name it. I've been trying to get to safety since the Mushroom Lord's forces started swarming all over the place. I don't suppose you know anywhere I could stay?
Sure, come back to my base in the ancient forest. We returned to my base, and the weaponsmith saw some of the damage the gas had left, so they suggested some ways we could improve the defenses, making my ancestral home better protected against attacks. I built a perimeter wall to keep the Mushroom Lord's minions at bay, and in return for giving me the idea, I surprised the weaponsmith with a new room that he could stay in.
This looks fantastic, Zozo. Thank you.
From day 27 to day 31, I decided to ask the weaponsmith if they knew anything about the Halo, the mystical item that could supposedly be used to defeat Fungi the Mushroom Lord once and for all.
Oh, yes, sir. I've heard many legends of such a thing. Supposedly, an ancient and powerful being fell from the sky many centuries ago. It was the first being to wield a halo, and it used the power to create the overworld and fill it with life.
Then it created balance between all the elements, between light and dark, good and evil. But then the dark and evil it had created to balance out all the good tried to overthrow the mighty creature and steal the halo for their own dastardly means. In the end, the ancient thing cast its halo out into space. Some folks like to think it's what formed the heart of the sun and keeps it burning.
Huh, that's quite the story. You think you could forge a halo of our own?
Well, that's no small feat, Zozo. It would just be a knockoff if I made it. Besides, a halo requires a powerful being, one able to bring balance to all the elements in order to wield it. But the real thing could be out there somewhere. There's some stories about it being lost at the heart of the swamplands, so maybe start there.
My search for the halo took me into the swamplands again, but I wasn't able to get very far. A witch ambushed me, sent by the Mushroom Lord to stop my progress. The witch was wielding dangerous spells, and although I fired a few energy blasts back, I couldn't get close enough to use my claw attacks, so I had to retreat. From day 32 to day 35, I was still determined to track down the ancient halo. Maybe the prophecy of the elemental wolf meant I could wield it and use its power to stop the Mushroom Lord. I ventured back to the cold swamplands, and luckily that pesky witch had gone. But the place wasn't empty. Completely by chance, I stumbled across a weird creature that looked like a mix between a chicken and some kind of lizard. Hey, what the heck are you?
Why, I'm a cockatrice, but my friends all call me Clarence.
Are you with the Mushroom Lord? I heard he controls all sorts of monsters and mutants.
That's rude. I'm actually trying to get away from the Mushroom Lord.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Say, why don't you come back to the ancient forest? My base is there.
Sounds like a plan, Zozo. I'll see you there.
Clarence ran out of sight, adding another person to my forces in the war against evil. But then, all of a sudden, the Mushroom Lord emerged.
Clarence, there's no use in hiding. You will be mine.
Oh no, I need to make myself scarce. Before the Mushroom Lord could see me, I quickly dug a small pit into the ground and hid in it until he passed through. Phew, that was a close one. From day 36 to day 39, I made my way back to my base, where Clarence was waiting for me. I immediately started working on a comfy new room for him, and when the room was done, Clarence and I sat inside, discussing our common enemy. So, what made you want to leave the Mushroom Lord's armies?
He's just so cruel. All he cares about is controlling the overworld and making everyone do his bidding. Some of us just want to live our lives, do our own thing without him telling us what to do all the time.
Say, Clarence, I've been searching for a halo so I can use its power to stop the Mushroom Lord once and for all. Do you think you could help me find it?
Well, what do you know? I heard about something like that. They say that the halo glows bright with the heat of the heavens, so why don't you head someplace hot to find your halo?
That's a pretty good idea. I'll head to the desert. Things are pretty hot out there.
Listen, Zozo, I wanted to repay you for letting me stay. I noticed you had an unfinished statue outside, so I thought I'd give you a hand with it. What do you think?
I went to take a look at the statue's progress. Whoa, I'm really impressed. Thanks, Clarence. You didn't need to do that. I'm happy to help, but I still appreciate the gesture. The statue was looking better than ever, a large recreation of an elemental wolf like me that perfectly told everyone around not to mess with us and that this forest was protected. Even if the statue was unfinished, seeing it closer to completion made me feel inspired. From day 40 to day 43, the weaponsmith informed me that I'd need some much stronger gear if I was going to explore the desert in search of a magic halo.
Listen here, Zozo. You don't want to get stuck in the desert without the right equipment. Luckily, I can make you what you need. I just need you to head into a cave near here to grab the right materials.
No problem.
Just be careful. There could be all sorts of critters down there.
I set off to the cave that the weaponsmith had pointed out, and it didn't take long for me to meet some critters, just like they'd warned me. I had to fight my way through the nasty insects, but lucky for me, my fire aspect sword was burning through them pretty easily. It was only as I got deeper into the cave that I discovered a nest of the bugs with a Myrmex queen in the center. I used an energy blast to clear the path. Too much fire, and I'd run the risk of getting burned myself. With the nest cleared out, I found what I needed: diamonds! Bringing them back to the weaponsmith, they were able to turn the diamonds into a matching diamond pickaxe and diamond sword for me. Now I was ready to head off to the desert. From day 44 to day 49, I was certainly glad to have a diamond sword handy. When I first made my long journey to the desert, I encountered a troll, a huge, ugly beast that tried to smash me to pieces. Luckily, I was able to dodge out of the path of his attacks. He was much bigger and slower, so my wolf speed made it easier to duck and weave between his clumsy, cumbersome swings before I could land the final blow with my sword. With the troll defeated and out of my way, I continued towards the desert. But when I arrived, it was clear just how dangerous this place was. Someone was already in trouble.
Help! Somebody, help!
It was a Cyclops who was being crowded by vicious husks. They were using the fact he had only one eye to take swipes at him from all sides. I jumped right in to help, hacking all the husks down.
Wow, thanks so much for your help.
No problem. I don't suppose you know where I can find the ancient halo?
The halo? I'm pretty sure there's an old temple around here somewhere that might have what you seek. Come on, I'll lead you there. Just keep an eye out for more husks, will ya?
From day 50 to day 53, we made our journey to the ancient temple and looked around. The place was pretty much deserted, all just ruins like when I had found what was left of my ancestral home back in the forest. The Cyclops and I went into separate directions to search, leaving each of us alone. Suddenly, I was confronted by the witch I'd found in the swamp.
You again. I'll deal with this meddlesome pup once and for all. Then I'll find that halo and destroy it to win favor with the Mushroom Lord.
Our battle began, and I had to move out of the path of the witch's spells. I'd faced off against that powerful magic before, and it had almost taken me out. But I had more experience now. I'd learned from my past defeats, and I'd come with new weapons. So I leapt into action and swiped my diamond sword at the witch. It worked! I landed some strong hits, then used the rubble of the temple as cover. Jumping back out at the right time, I was finally able to beat the witch for good. The Cyclops had been hiding, but reappeared to show me around the temple. There was a hidden area underneath the floor.
Go down there alone, Zozo. I'm way too scared.
I went into the underground area alone, and there we found something I never expected to see. It wasn't the halo, it was a lightning dragon.
Ah, you must have come seeking the halo. Sorry to disappoint, but don't worry, you're on the right path. You cannot merely find the halo, it must find you.
How can I make it find me?
You must master balance, Zozo. Become the balance of all elements. Then, and only then, will you find what you seek.
From day 54 to day 57, I made the long journey back to my base. When I arrived, I was so happy to see how much it had improved. I took a look at all the upgrades that my friends had made while I'd been gone. There were more defensive walls around the perimeter. We even had a watchtower where I could keep a lookout for the Mushroom Lord's forces. It was all coming together really nicely. I spoke with my mentor, the Air Elemental, about the advice the Lightning Dragon had given me.
Achieving balance between the elements is your destiny, Zozo. But it's no easy task. You need to seek out the root of evil and start tipping the scales. And as you do, you'll learn more with every victory. Here, there is one of the Mushroom Lord's cronies scouring the ancient forest for you. Go and tilt the scales back towards balance.
I set off to find the Mushroom Lord's mob, and sure enough, discovered a Dreadlich. This thing was scary. I'd never fought anything like it before, but my focus was on my goal. I had to master the elements and bring back balance, and I used that to guide me through the fight. With my goal in mind, battling the Dreadlich seemed easy by comparison, and it fell at my Flame Breath and Diamond Blade. I moved as swift as the air with the ferocity of fire and held my ground with the strength of earth. I was starting to learn what it really meant to be an elemental wolf. When I returned back to my base, the weaponsmith had a new diamond helmet forged for me, so I added it to my armor chest, feeling happy I was making so much progress. From day 58 to day 62, I was woken up by the weaponsmith, who seemed super excited to show me something.
Come, take a look, Zozo. We've been working hard on getting this place looking mighty fine. Come see the best part.
It was the statue. It had been almost finished, and it looked amazing. It towered over the main area of the fortress, proud and awe-inspiring. I was so happy to see it almost finished. It looks awesome, thanks so much. Suddenly, an explosive fireball rocked one of our walls. I ran outside to see the air elemental panicking.
Zozo, ghasts are attacking. We need to fend them off. Remember what you've learned about balance.
Yes, Master. You and all the others should hide in the buildings. I'll take them all on. With everyone else in safety, it was time for me to take on the ghast attackers. I hopped into the fray. This time, I tried to imagine water, how fluidly it moved, but also how strong and dangerous it could be. My elements had all the strength and speed of a flash flood, and it meant I was able to take down all of the ghasts in no time. But I wasn't fast enough to save one of my friends. A ghast had launched a fireball as it ran away, retreating to the Mushroom Lord, and the fireball had struck my trusty weaponsmith! From day 63 to day 66, I was still feeling sad at the loss of my friend, the weaponsmith. I had decided to venture back to the desert to seek more information from the lightning dragon. Although I was sad, I wanted to use the halo to stop the evil Mushroom Lord. I remembered my goal, balance. Not just balancing the elements, but also finding the right balance of my emotions too. I allowed myself to be sad for my friend, but also had to make sure I didn't let anger or hatred get the better of me. When I returned to the temple in the desert, the lightning dragon was nowhere to be found. That was strange, I thought. But then again, he had been cooped up underground for who knows how many centuries. Maybe he just needed to get out and do some sightseeing. But in his place was an old book. He must have left it behind. I opened it up to read, and it told the story of the halo in much more detail. And even better, there was a clue about where to look for it. I couldn't allow myself to get impatient. Learn how to master balance, and the halo would find me. That's what the dragon told me. Suddenly, I was attacked by the ghast, the one who had escaped. This was my chance to defeat it, but while I could have done so out of revenge for my fallen friend, the weaponsmith, instead, I remembered my lessons about balance and dealt with the last ghast. From day 67 to day 70, I headed into the heart of the ancient forest like the book had suggested. There was a sinister fortress waiting for me. It was the Mushroom Lord's hideout. It was no wonder his forces had been able to find my base so easily and so many times. His base wasn't far from mine. It had been under my nose the whole time. I tried to get closer to the fortress, but it was guarded on all sides by mutant zombies.
Halt! By order of the Mushroom Lord!
I'm not halting for him. His time is up. I need to end his reign of terror once and for all. I attacked the mutant zombie and easily chopped it down, but in the commotion, more of them started swarming to my location. There was a huge horde, too many for me to take down alone. Just as I was about to be defeated, I heard the voice of the air elemental in my head.
Zozo, don't give up hope. Things are tough right now, but you can't take on the Mushroom Lord until you're ready. Get to safety.
With that, I ran back to a safe distance where the air elemental was waiting for me. From day 71 to day 74, once we had made our way to safety, the air elemental noticed my discomfort.
I know you're frustrated, Zozo, but you can't give in to that frustration if you hope to succeed. I understand, we all do, but you just want to do right by others. But don't worry, victory will come in its own time.
As we headed back to our base, we came across a note that some of the Mushroom Lord's forces had left on a tree. We thought it was to send a message to all of his various mutants and monsters, but it was entirely possible he wanted to brag to me specifically.
Good news, my minions. I have in my possession the ancient halo. It was not lost. I have had it all along. But we cannot be complacent. The last thing we want is Zozo getting his hands on it. So be alert. And if you spot that elemental wolf, you know what to do!
The air elemental offered me some food to replenish my hunger, and we continued towards the base. From day 75 to day 78, we returned to my base in the ancient forest. Although my spirits were pretty low, seeing how much my home had been improved was enough to make me smile again. The place had gotten much bigger, not quite the size of the Mushroom Lord's fungal fortress, but still with more rooms and better storage and crafting areas. It reminded me of the weaponsmith and how he'd be proud to see how far we'd come. Suddenly, there was an attacker at the perimeter wall. It was one of the mutant zombies. It must have followed our trail back from the Mushroom Lord's base. Immediately, I went in to attack it, but not out of anger. I had to make sure to follow the air elemental's teachings and not let myself be too frustrated. I fought with all the ferocity of fire, but also the calmness of still water. I stood my ground like stone and finally moved with the swift speed of the air. I was in tune with all the elements, and it allowed me to beat the mutant zombie. To my surprise, I leveled up. My victory had made me even stronger. I now had 50 hearts and a new understanding of my elemental abilities. This gave me a special power, the Dragon Fireball Attack. Even better, the mutant zombie dropped a clue. Fungi the Mushroom Lord was going to be in the Autumnal Valley soon. From day 79 to day 84, I headed off to the Autumnal Valley, where I had first encountered the Mushroom Lord. Back then, I had learned that he was planning to unleash the Great Change and turn everything in the overworld into an awful fungus-filled realm. But how was he going to do it? Was that what he needed the halo for? And why come to this place specifically? My thoughts were interrupted by another cockatrice popping out in front of me. Hey, who are you?
I'm Carl the Cockatrice, and you must be Zozo, the elemental wolf.
So, are you friendly like Clarence? I know not all cockatrices agree with the Mushroom Lord.
Oh, you want to find the Mushroom Lord? Well, he's planning to use the winds here to carry his fungus spores across the overworld. Here, I can take you to him.
I trusted the cockatrice like Clarence, but to my surprise, he turned on me. He was still loyal to fungi. We battled, and I used my dragon fireball attack to finish off Carl. From day 85 to day 89, I decided to find anyone else that could help me put a stop to Fungi the Mushroom Lord's plans. I thought the most knowledgeable person to ask, after my mentor the Air Elemental, would be the Lightning Dragon. So I headed back to the temple where he had been before. But sadly, he still hadn't returned. That's when the Cyclops popped back up.
Oh, hey there, Zozo!
Hi, you're the Cyclops from before, right?
Yes, sir. Simon's the name. Didn't get a chance to thank you for dealing with that witch and those zombies before.
No problem. I don't suppose you know where the dragon went?
No idea. Haven't seen him since he left the temple.
That's a shame. I really needed his advice.
Anything I can help with? It's the least I could do after you helped me out.
I don't suppose you know how I can get the Halo and defeat Fungi the Mushroom Lord?
Fungi? Well, the Halo would help you for sure, but you mean you haven't tried netherite yet?
Netherite?
Yeah, fungi's weak to netherite. And lucky for you, I know a place you can get yourself some.
From day 90 to day 94, I headed off to the place that Simon the Cyclops had pointed out for me. It was a cave where apparently someone had stashed some netherite ingots and forgotten about them. I kept my guard up. After being betrayed by Carl, I couldn't be 100% sure that this wasn't a trap. And at any rate, the last time I was in a cave, I had a whole nest of nasty myrmexes to clear out. But much to my pleasant surprise, I found the chest without any trouble, and sure enough, it was filled with netherite ingots. But I couldn't just hurl them at fungi and call it a day. No, I needed to craft them into something that could help me win the day. I thought back to my old friend the weaponsmith, and it gave me the perfect idea. I'd make a netherite sword. Luckily, there was something that looked like a smithy right next to me. By combining the ingots with my trusty diamond sword, I was able to turn it into a brand new netherite sword, one that would weaken the Mushroom Lord when we next battled. From day 95 to day 97, I made my way back to my base in the ancient forest. It had been a long journey, and the ancestral home of my fellow elemental wolves was almost restored to its former glory. There was just one final touch.
Here, Zozo, we've been working on it to keep your spirits up, but you should be the one to put the final piece in place.
With that, I added the final piece to the elemental wolf statue. With the statue done, the air elemental approached me.
It's time, Zozo. You've learned much about harnessing the elements and restoring balance to the overworld. Before you face the Mushroom Lord once more, you deserve to give yourself a moment to remember just how far you've come and just how much progress you've made.
Taking a moment, I realized that I'd grown and gotten stronger as the statue had gotten bigger. It was there as a reminder of how much I'd gone through and how big I felt on the inside now. It had been one heck of a journey and not always an easy one, but I wasn't the same wolf cub that I'd been when I started. Ow! On day 98, I got ready to set off to take on Fungi the Mushroom Lord one more time. First, I spoke to Clarence the Cockatrice. Well, Clarence, this might be goodbye for good.
Zozo, wait! I want to come with you.
Are you sure? I thought you were scared of the Mushroom Lord.
I am, or at least I was, but I should have stood up to him instead of running away. If you're gonna take him down, then now's as good of a time as any for me to do what I should have done from the start.
Glad to have you with me, Clarence. As we went to leave, my air elemental mentor had one final bit of wisdom to impart.
Zozo, you must remember all you've learned. You can restore balance as an elemental wolf with the halo in your possession. You'll be able to bring all the elements of the overworld into harmony once again. But there is one final thing you must do. If you've been enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel.
On day 99, Clarence and I marched up to the huge fungal fortress of the Mushroom Lord. Our plan was to get inside, weaken Fungi, and get the halo back from him. We were met by a horde of zombies ahead of us, but I remembered all I had learned so far and relied on my elemental powers to fight back. My dragon fireball attack took out a bunch of them as I used fire and air at the same time. I swung my netherite sword at the zombies, taking them out in one hit. The air was guiding my sword, and the netherite hiding within the earth was strengthening my blows. The zombies had once been a challenge with their numbers, but now I was better attuned with the balance of the elements, staying calm and cutting through them, one by one. As more and more zombies flooded out, Clarence hung back to distract them, and I ran right into the base, ready to take down the Mushroom Lord himself. On day 100, I searched the Fungus Fortress for the Mushroom Lord, but instead, I found what I'd been looking for, the halo! But it was guarded by a mighty Pigless. I used all of the elements to defeat him! And sure enough, just like the Lightning Dragon had promised, I obtained the halo! I leveled up, getting 80 hearts, and even one more extra ability, a Lightning Blast! I hurled crackling bolts of lightning at the Pigless! Before long, they had been defeated, which only left their master.
Zozo, you won't stop the great change. Even with that blasted halo, you'll never stop my plans. Soon the overworld will be mine, a filthy fungus-ridden paradise for me to rule over.
No, Fungi, you'll never win! I have mastered all the elements, but most importantly, I know why you'll never win. Because there must be balance. The overworld can't just be one thing.
Foolish wolf, you have been a thorn in my side for too long.
Right before my eyes, Fungi the Mushroom Lord grew into a huge version of himself. Although I was surprised, I didn't let my fear rule me. After all, two could play that game. I channeled the balance of all the elements and called on the power of the halo to transform into my ultimate form. Awoo! The battle was on! I swiped at Fungi with my netherite sword, and it worked! Simon was right. Netherite made him weaker. I fought with all the attacks at my disposal, Energy Blast, then followed up with a Claw attack, and some extra Dragon Fireball and Lightning Strikes for good measure. The netherite made my attacks do some real lasting damage. The Mushroom Lord was almost beaten. I summoned up all the elements, earth, wind, fire, the water, lightning, and energy of the overworld, and channeled them into one last swing of my sword. Boom! It worked! Fungi the Mushroom Lord was defeated! He exploded into tiny little spores. But this wasn't a chance for me to be cruel, so I called up the wind to carry his spores across the overworld, just enough so that fungus and mushrooms would grow. After all, everything had to be balanced. That was my job as the Elemental Wolf.
On day 1, I spawned in as a little mouse. Ooh, look how cute and tiny I am. But uh-oh, I only have one heart. I've got to be careful. That's when I noticed that my hunger bar was half the size of a normal one too. Uh-oh, I guess I have a tiny stomach. I better hurry and start getting some supplies. Right away, I started punching trees so that I could get some wood. Using the wood I had collected, I put together a crafting table, then used that to make a wooden pickaxe, shovel, axe, and sword. I packed up my crafting table, then started to look for some food. That's when my hunger bar started dropping. I had to hurry. I soon saw a patch of berries. Oh, thank goodness, this is just what I was looking for. Suddenly, I heard a growl, and a giant grizzly bear came walking over. Oh, he's going to eat me. I gotta run. I ran and ran through the forest until I felt like I had gotten away. This forest was a dangerous place. Just then, I heard some squeaking up ahead. I soon saw a little mice family. Oh, hey guys, you're just like me. Is it okay if we stick together?
A new friend. Yeah, absolutely. Everything is easier when you stick together. My name is Remy.
Remy introduced me to the rest of his family. It was nice to have a group of friendly faces. He told me that they had a nice cave to live in, too. We headed over to the cave when suddenly a fox popped out and started to attack us. Oh no, I have to help my new family. Together, we did everything we could to fight off the fox. Luckily for me, our combined power was strong, and we took the fox down. Yeah, you won't be messing with us again. We then all went into the cave. It was small but cozy, the perfect place to settle for the night. I just hoped that tomorrow I could find some more food. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble. On day 2, I headed into the cave to get some coal. I was able to quickly find some and mined it out. I also grabbed some stone. Time for this mouse to get an upgrade. I put down my crafting table and used it to put together some stone tools. I also made some torches. I headed over to our cave and set up the torches. This should help keep the mobs away. My hunger was starting to drop again, so I decided to go out and look for some more food. As I ran through the forest, I could see something on the ground, but as I got closer, I could see it was just a flower. Man, where is all the food? I didn't have too much time to think about it though, as the grizzly bear from before showed up again. Oh, this guy again? I can't risk it with one heart. I had stone tools, but there was no way I could take him on. I soon arrived back at the cave to talk to my mouse friends. Have you guys been able to find any food? Everywhere I look is either empty or has a hungry bear.
You're not alone. We can't find anything either, but that's because of the humans.
The humans? What do you mean?
There's been a lot of humans coming through here, and they've been taking all of the food. It's been hard for us to find anything.
I felt really bad for them, and they agreed to try and go look for food. I wanted to do something to make them happy, so I went outside and gathered up some of the materials. Using everything I had collected, I started to fix up the cave. We might not have any food, but at least we could have some beds to sleep in. It's the best I could do, but I just wanted to say thank you for letting me stay here. I'm really starting to feel like I'm part of your family. On day 3, I woke up to a loud noise. There was a human in our cave! He had put my mouse family into bags, and I was next. Let them go! I had tried to hit him, but he nearly took me out. I had no choice but to run.
You can run, but I'm gonna find you eventually.
I kept running until the human was far behind me. What was I going to do now? How could this happen to my family? That guy was huge. But one day, I'm gonna be big and strong too. Mark my words. I'm gonna save my family from the humans. On days 4 to 5, I set off to find myself a new place to live. If I was going to get big and strong, I needed a safe place to sleep at night and store my gear. I soon found myself a nice cliffside and dug into the side of it. I wanted something cozy like the last cave, but I was gonna make it a little nicer. Time to get some building supplies. I headed out into the forest and gathered wood, as well as all the other materials I was going to need. This was going to be a classy rat's nest. I then got to work building all of the rooms. I decided to build something even bigger than what I needed, including rooms for other mice. I was determined to save my mouse family, and they were going to need a room when they came to live with me. Soon, the base was completed, and I decided to get some rest. In the middle of the night, I heard some noise outside. Uh-oh, I forgot to put out torches. I gotta take care of these zombies. I got right to work fighting off the zombies, but I had to be careful because I still only had 1 heart. Luckily for me, I was able to survive and took them all out. I better get those torches up quick. The next day, I headed outside to take a look around the area. What is that over there? I went down into the forest and soon came upon a small, half-built structure. Inside was another mouse. Hey, you're just like me.
Am I? Cause I'm looking real buff while you're just a skinny little guy. I'm not a mouse, I'm a vole. What are you doing out here?
My family was kidnapped by the humans, and I'm going to rescue them, but I'm worried about getting food first.
Boy, are you right about that. How am I supposed to keep to my all-protein diet with those humans taking all the food? They also got my family too. I think they're keeping them as pets.
Oh, these humans are ruining everything. Let's team up and take them down. Yeah, let's do it. 2 more voles had popped up from nearby. Whoa, where did you guys come from? I thought you were the only one.
Oh yeah, these are my brothers. They're around.
What's up, little guy? You look like you could use a protein shake.
Thanks. Well, the more the merrier, I suppose. Come on, you guys should live at my base with me. Tomorrow we can figure out the food. The voles agreed, and we headed out. On days 6 to 8, I was wandering through the forest when I finally came across a berry bush, but it was empty. That's when I saw a raccoon taking off the last few berries. Oh hey, would you mind sparing a few berries? I haven't eaten in days.
Heh, that's just how it works out here, bud. Do I have enough to spare? Yeah, I do, but I guess I'm just a jerk. Sorry, not sorry.
I couldn't believe this guy. Well, you're right about one thing. You are a jerk. I had had enough. It was time to start fighting back. Give me those berries. I jumped into action and started fighting the raccoon. I caught him off guard. He didn't expect a little mouse like me to be this strong. I managed to beat him in no time. As he disappeared, he dropped a bunch of berries. Finally, some food. I took a bite of the berries when I suddenly felt my strength begin to grow, and I leveled up. I had gotten even stronger, and now I have 4 hearts. Awesome. With my belly more full than before, I decided to head into a cave. Lucky for me, I found a whole bunch of iron. By using my pickaxe, I managed to mine a whole bunch of iron, enough to make myself all kinds of iron equipment. As I headed back toward the base, I also came across some sugarcane. Even more food. Today is just my lucky day. I managed to collect a decent amount of sugarcane when suddenly the grizzly bear appeared again. I'm not running away this time. I jumped into action, but it was a mistake. This bear was just way too strong. Okay, looks like I'm running away this time. Today was just not the day to beat a bear, but hey, at least I got some food. Back at the base, I started planting the sugarcane. If I could get some more ingredients, I'd have myself a nice food source. I can also use it to make books. I was hoping to build a library in the base. Once the sugarcane was all planted, I went back to my base and started smelting the iron ore I had collected. With the iron ingots, I made myself a full set of iron armor, then made all of the tools I would need as well. I'm feeling much better already. I then decided to upgrade the base by adding in a library. I felt like the voles might like it. I just wanted to make sure they were comfortable and happy to be here. Hey guys, come check out the new library. The voles headed upstairs to take a look around.
Reading is for nerds, but even I gotta admit, this is a pretty nice looking place. Good going, Pipsqueak.
On days 9 to 10, I woke up to the voles coming into my room.
Bro, we're starving. We gotta do something about this food situation.
Good morning. I agree, but I feel like I've run out of places to look.
There is this one place, but only someone small and sneaky could go there, like you.
I could give it a go. Where is it?
There's a human farm near here, just full of stuff. If you can get in there and steal some of their food, we could start our own farm.
That sounds a little risky, but at this point, I'm not sure what choice I have. I'll do it. The voles told me where I needed to go, then I went and waited outside for nighttime. Once it was good and dark, I snuck down and soon saw the farm. These humans have so much food. Why are they taking everything from the forest? I quickly gathered as much food as I could. We were finally going to have a reliable food source. Once I had grabbed a good amount of food, I noticed a chest nearby. Inside inside was a box of hats. I wonder what this is all about. Just then, I heard a bark, and a dog came running over to me. Hey, why are you barking at me? Don't you know the humans are taking everyone's food? The dog stopped barking.
They're taking everyone's food? He's my best friend, but that doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do.
Suddenly, I heard a shout, and the farmer came running out.
Hey, you, get on out of here.
I had no choice but to run away. Those humans were dangerous, and I would never rescue my family if they captured me too. After a bit of running, I made it back to my base. I threw some potatoes into the furnace and started making some beetroot soup. I also baked some bread. With all kinds of good food in my pockets, I headed over to the vole's room. I'm back, and look what I've got. I started tossing the food out, much to the vole's delight. We'd never have to be hungry again. After everyone had eaten, I showed them the hat box too. Everyone picked out their favorite hats and put them on. We were all pretty excited about it. The next day, I went outside and started working on a farm. Once it was all set up, I tilled the land and planted all the different plants. Finally, I could focus on my main mission of rescuing my family. On days 11 to 12, I woke up to the voles coming into my room again. But this time, they weren't complaining. They were excited because they had something to show me. Apparently, it was a fancy statue. I went outside to take a look.
So, what do you think? We all worked really hard on it. It's a mouse, just like you.
Wow, guys, that is really nice. Thanks for making this for me. You know what could be really fun?
What's that?
Why don't we make one together? There's more than one of us here, so I think it just makes sense for there to be more than one statue.
Yeah, that sounds dope. But we don't really want to build another one, so you can make it. We can't wait to see it.
First off, I decided to go out and start collecting all the flowers I would need to make dye. I was going to find some sheep later, so I ran around getting everything I would need. Once I had gotten all the flowers I needed, I snuck back to the human's farm. I snuck upstairs and managed to grab some shears out of the chest. Then I went over to the sheep and dyed them all the different colors I would need. I had just collected a decent amount of wool when the farmer and dog came running out. Uh-oh, here they come again. I've got a bolt. The farmer shouted and the dog barked, but I was able to get out of there just in time. Back at the base, I got to work building the first part of the statue. It meant a lot to me that the voles had made me a statue, so I thought it'd be nice to make something too. I still needed some more supplies, so I stopped at the first part. On days 13 to 15, I was out exploring the woods when I came across a beehive. Oh, we could use some honey. This will be very helpful. I gathered it up and then saw another one, so I gathered the honey from there too. That's when I noticed a small house on top of the hill. A house that small must be for a mouse. I ran up the hill to find out. The door opened and inside was a feeble old mouse.
Why, hello, dear. What brings you out to these parts?
Hi, I'm out gathering some supplies for my friends. I've got to search pretty far for special items since the humans are taking all of our resources.
Ah, those pesky humans. They're just the worst. It's high time the Mouse of Myth comes along.
The Mouse of Myth? Who's that?
Ah, have you not heard the story? Legend says that when the humans begin to ruin the Mouselands, a brave and mighty mouse will rise up, growing to be even bigger and stronger than the humans. That mouse will save all mousekind.
Really? Wow, that actually sounds a lot like the situation I'm going through right now.
Perhaps you are the Mouse of Myth then. Ever experienced sudden bursts of strength?
Once, but I think that was because I hadn't eaten in a few days. The Mouse of Myth sounds way stronger than me.
Well, the Mouse of Myth will be confident in himself, so perhaps it's not you after all.
Oh yeah, maybe not. We chatted a while longer, but all I could think about was the Mouse of Myth. I hoped that could be me, but maybe she was right. I didn't feel confident in it at all. I soon left to go back to my base. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to the voles coming into my room again.
Yo, Zozo, you've been proven to be pretty tough after all, so we had a favor to ask.
What's going on?
Some of our buddies got themselves into a bit of a situation, and we were hoping you could bail them out.
I'll see what I can do. Show me the way. I followed the voles out of the base and out across the land. They had soon led me into a dense jungle where we came across some squirrels stuck in a tree. There was a Tasmanian devil down at the bottom, and he wasn't letting them down. Out of the way, mister! I charged at the Tasmanian devil, and we started to fight. Why won't you leave those poor squirrels alone? The voles cheered me on as we continued to fight. This little guy was intense, but I was quick and took him out in no time.
Bro, nice one!
The vole called up to his squirrel friends to let them know it was safe, and they came down to chat.
Yo, that was sick! We thought we were never gonna get out of that tree.
No worries, guys. I'm just glad we could help. Say, if you want, you should come live at our base with us. There's a lot of dangerous creatures out here.
Gnarly, bruh. We'd love to live there with you guys.
Just then, I felt strength coming to me, and I grew in size, and I've gained even more hearts than before.
Dude, nice gains. I didn't know a mouse could beef up like that.
Soon we all left and headed back to the base. I had grown in size again. Maybe I could be the Mouse of Myth. I'd have to figure that out another day. Back at the base, I got right to work building the squirrels a place to live. I started with some steps and a ladder, then got to work making them a treehouse. I figured they would be happiest living in a tree, so I made it the best I could. Then I filled the inside with all the comforts they could need. Soon, I was done. I really hope they like it here. On days 20 to 22, I got woken up again, but this time it wasn't by the voles. What is that sound? I ran outside and saw the base was surrounded by zombies. But where had all of the torches gone? I couldn't worry about that now though. I had some zombies to take care of. I ran down the hill and quickly attacked them. They weren't super tough, so I was able to defeat them quickly. Alright, I gotta figure out what happened. But just then, another group of zombies came over the hill. More of them? Oh brother. I started swinging my sword and was able to take a few more of them out. But how many more were there going to be? I don't know if I can fight them off forever. It was close, but I managed to finish them off. Okay, enough of that. I better get more torches. But then, even more zombies came over the hill, and this time, they were covered in iron armor. What is going on? I kept swinging my sword and was getting hits in, but these guys were way tougher with their armor. It was starting to look a little close, but I finally fought them all off. Oh, I can't fight anymore. Hopefully that's it. But it wasn't it. More iron-wearing zombies came over the hill, and this time, they had skeletons with them. Uh-oh, I don't think I can survive this. I started to fight them off, but it was too hard. I ran under the statue for cover, but I was surrounded. Just then, the voles came charging out of the base and attacked the zombies.
Hang on, Zozo. We're here to help.
With our combined power, we were able to start fighting back and start taking out the bad guys. Even the squirrels got into the fight. At long last, the zombies were finally defeated. This time, no more zombies or skeletons came over the hill. Soon, we were back in the base. Thanks, guys. I thought I was a goner.
We thought we ought to help you out for once.
I'm sure glad you did. We've got to figure out what happened to our torches, though. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble.
Oh, right. We might know something about that.
The voles explained that they had taken all of the torches and put them in the library. Apparently, it was too dark for them to see what they were reading.
It turns out, reading is actually pretty dope, but we didn't think about the zombies. My bad, homie.
I told them it was okay and got to work setting up some new torches outside. We'll have to try and make even better defenses tomorrow. On days 23 to 26, I left my base to go and gather some more supplies. Our base had nearly been taken over last night, and we needed some serious upgrades. First, I dug up a bunch of clay. I was going to make bricks, so I needed to grab as much clay as I could. I then brought it back to my base, where I began smelting it into bricks. Before I started working on the wall, though, I decided to build a nice walkway down to the farm. It was going to be much better than having to get wet every time we needed to get a bite to eat. With the new bridge complete, I then got to work on the new walls. There were some natural mountains around the entrance to our base, but I thought it'd be smart to plug up the gaps with some walls. After all, a wall is no good if someone can just walk right through it. Once the walls are finished, my next project was building a guard tower. If we had something nice and tall, we'd be able to keep a close eye out for any more zombies, or even worse, humans. It took a bit, but the tower was soon complete too. As I was admiring the build from the courtyard, one of the squirrels came outside to meet me.
Hey man, nice building. You're really good at this.
Thanks. I just want us to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm actually a pretty good cook. If you wouldn't mind building me a kitchen, I'd be happy to make food for everyone.
Oh, that's a great idea. Before I started on the kitchen though, I first grabbed some food from the farm. There was no point in building a kitchen if there's no food to store in it. With all the food in my pockets, I headed inside and got to work on the kitchen. I made sure to set up everything he needed and filled the pantry with all of the food. I couldn't wait to see what he'd make. Later that night, I was up in the tower to see how well our defenses worked. I could see a big group of zombies outside of the gate, but they had no chance of getting in. I'd call that a success. Now I just had to hope nothing bigger would stop by. On days 27 to 31, I was keeping watch from the tower when the bear from earlier showed up. This guy again? I'm so sick of him always trying to ruin my day. I ran down and headed outside the gate. You've tried to take my food too many times. I'm not letting you in here. The bear just laughed and let out a roar. He wasn't much of the talking type, but he was still a jerk. Just then, he charged. The bear was still really strong, but this time, I wasn't going to run away or back down. I was stronger, and he was going to have the fight of his life. With my sword in hand, I swung as hard as I could, knocking him back. He let out a roar, but it was too late. I hit him with the final blow, and he was defeated.
Well, aren't you just the toughest little mouse I've ever seen?
I looked up at a nearby tree and saw a crane looking down at me. Oh man, you have no idea. That bear has been trying to finish me off for days. I just couldn't let him win.
Well, it's not every day you see a mouse beating a bear. Have you ever considered joining a fighting league? All of the toughest animals around are in ours, and you'd be perfect.
Oh, I appreciate the offer, but I can't. I'm on a quest to save my family, not become the ultimate mouse champion.
Oh, but you don't understand. This will help you. By showing your bravery, you can inspire the crowd who will want to help in your cause. Not to mention, you can earn some serious money by winning fights. Money that could help you.
Okay. I guess there's no harm in checking it out. Where do I need to go? The crane told me where to go, and I said I would head over there after preparing a little bit. He thanked me and took off. Later that day, I was deep in a cave, looking for resources. If I was going to win any fights, I needed the best gear I could get. That's when I noticed there were tons of diamonds in this cave. I mined out as many as I could. This was just what I needed. With my pockets overflowing with diamonds, I headed out of the cave. Back at the base, I got right to crafting, making myself a full set of diamond armor, a helmet, boots, leggings, and a chest plate. I then used them to make a pickaxe, shovel, axe, and sword. There's no way I'm gonna lose any fights now. On days 32 to 35, I made my way to the location the crane had told me about. Standing outside the entrance was the crane.
Good evening, sir. I'm so thrilled you could make it. You've got quite the challenger tonight. fight, but I think you will do splendidly.
Okay, I'm all ready to fight, so bring it on. The crane motioned for me to enter, and I headed in. The arena was brightly lit, or at least the fighting area was. I could hear a crowd in the darkness though, so I knew the place was packed. As I stood in the arena, I saw a gate open at the other end. It looked like my challenger was a Shiba Inu. I could take this guy. A bell rang and the fight was on. The Shiba was tough, but so was I. As we fought, the crowd cheered. As we both landed blows, they oohed and awed. They seemed like they were really into it. If I can win this fight, all the animals watching will be able to help me rescue my family. I've got to win. The Shiba Inu put up a good fight, but with my new weapons and armor, there was really no contest. I soon defeated him, and the crowd went wild. As they cheered, a bunch of emeralds started dropping into the arena, as well as XP points. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these emeralds, but I'm sure I can figure something out. This is awesome. Just then, a bunch of lapis and obsidian dropped in as well. Excited, I ran around picking up my rewards as the crowd continued to cheer. I gave one final wave to the crowd, then headed back down and out of the arena to meet with the crane.
Congratulations. I just knew you could win.
Thanks, that was actually a lot of fun. I think all the animals were really excited for me too.
Oh yes, the crowd loved you. Please, feel free to come back soon. I'm sure the crowd was very inspired by you.
I thanked the crane for inviting me, then ran back toward my base. I made a stop by the sheep farm first though, and grabbed a bunch of dyed wool. I was going to need this for the statue. Back at the base, I took the wool I'd collected and got to work on the next part. I kept going until I ran out of wool again. I couldn't wait to see what it would look like when I was done. On days 36 to 39, I was exploring a nearby acacia forest when I saw something strange in the distance. Is that a mouse? She's really beating that wolf up. The mouse soon defeated the wolf, and I hurried over to talk to her. Whoa, nice moves! That was super impressive.
Thanks. I thought I was the only big strong mouse out here, but I see I'm not the only one. My name is Bella.
My name's Zozo. There's actually a whole group of us living just back over the mountains. You should come live at our base with us.
Are you sure? I don't want to intrude.
Oh no, it would be great. We could train together and everything. I feel like I could learn a lot from you.
Well, alright. Show me the way.
We headed off back in the direction of the base. Once we arrived, I got right to work making her room. It was going to be awesome having such a tough mouse around. Soon, her room was complete. On days 40 to 43, I met Bella in the kitchen.
Hey Zozo, I'm going to go out and train. Do you want to come with?
That would be awesome. You can teach me all of your moves.
Right on. Just give me a second.
Bella went over to the crafting table and made herself a new purple hat. It was really cool. She was then ready to go, so we headed out. Back in the acacia forest, I watched as Bella took on a whole pack of wolves. I couldn't believe she wasn't even scared. The wolves were fighting their hardest, but Bella wasn't even breaking a sweat. Soon, she had defeated all of the wolves.
Zozo, why don't you hop in on this next one?
Another pack of wolves charged at us, and I hopped in.
I've got a tip for you. Instead of just hitting, jump into the air and hit them as you're coming down. You'll do even more damage than normal.
I gave it a try and she was right. I tried it on as many wolves as I could, and together we defeated them all, no problem. Later we were taking a break when I had a question to ask her. So, how come you train so hard? What makes you want to fight so much?
That's a good question. I wasn't always like this, but one day I met an old mouse woman in the middle of nowhere. She told me this story about a mouse who could grow in size and was really strong. I had been fighting mobs just before then and had grown in size a little myself. That was when I realized I had to be the one in the legend. I had to be the mouse of myth.
Really? I think I met the same mouse. I heard the exact same story. I couldn't believe that I might be the mouse of myth though.
Well, that makes sense though, because you're not. I knew without a doubt the legend was about me, and so I've dedicated myself to training in order to fulfill my destiny. You really thought you were the mouse of myth? That's cute. Come on, I'll race you back to the base.
Bella took off, but I couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. I mean, she was really talented, so it did make sense, but I was really starting to believe I might be the mouse of myth. We'd just have to see how everything played out. On days 44 to 49, I decided to get some more work done on the statue. I had collected a decent amount of materials for my last raid, so I got quite a bit done. I was even able to do the tail, which I thought turned out pretty good. I was taking a moment to look at how things had gone so far when the voles came running out.
Zozo, come quick! There's a human at the gate, and he's asking for you.
A human? You guys keep an eye out from above. This could mean trouble. I ran over to the gates, and sure enough, there was a human on the other side. But this human was dressed like a mailman. What do you want, human?
Don't you worry, little rat. I'm not here to cause you any trouble, yet. I'm here with a message from all of us humans.
What could you thugs have to say to me?
We wrote it all down, but watch out. We know about your little base out here. We've seen you and your friends training too. We could destroy all of you if we wanted to, but we'll let it slide on one condition.
Yeah? And what's that?
Stop messing with our farms and stealing from us. Otherwise, you and all your little rodents can say goodbye.
Okay, I'll agree to that on one condition. You let my mouse family and all other animals go.
They didn't tell me you had a sense of humor, but seriously, knock it off or we'll knock you out.
The human turned and walked off. Who do these humans think they are? It's time to teach them a real lesson. On days 50 to 53, Bella and I snuck up to the sheep farm I had been visiting, but this time I saw they had built a huge wall around it. Looks like we inspired them to up their security, but I think I know how to beat that. Bella pulled out her shovel.
Shovel?
Shovel. Bella and I got right to work building a tunnel. I had been here enough times to know just where I needed to go to pop out under the sheep pen. We tunneled our way through and popped up right underneath them.
Holy sheep, where did you two come from?
Whoa, I didn't know you guys could talk. Sorry for dyeing you different colors and stealing your wool.
Are you serious? You're the only one who has been cutting our wool, and it's hot out here. You're doing us a favor.
Oh, well that's great to hear. You guys wouldn't happen to want to live at my base, would you?
We thought you'd never ask. The humans are the worst.
We all jumped into the tunnel and ran back out from under the wall. This was going to make the humans so mad. It was perfect. Back at the base, I got right to work building the sheep a nice farmhouse to live in. They didn't even have a roof over their heads before. This was going to be much better. Now we just needed to sit back and see how the humans would react. On days 54 to 57, I was down in the mines gathering some more materials. The humans would probably want to attack me at some point, so I needed to make some upgrades. Once I had collected everything I needed in the mines, I headed upstairs and went over to the crafting table. Using the obsidian I had gotten from the arena, I managed to put together an enchanting table. Time to really upgrade my gear. I went into the library and cleared out a space for the enchanting table. I surrounded the room with bookshelves and placed the table at the center of the room. Then I went through all of my gear and gave them different enchantments to make them stronger. I'm gonna be one tough mouse to beat now. I then went outside and got to work on the next part of the statue. This time it was all about the details, starting with a torch in its left hand. Then I got to work on a sword for the right hand. This was my favorite part of the build for sure. This statue is looking great. On days 58 to 62, I decided to make some more improvements to the base, starting with the bridge. I took down some of what I had done before, then began adding in some new railings and overhangs. As a final touch, I added in some hanging lanterns. Speaking of lanterns, I thought they looked quite a bit nicer than torches, so I went around the base and replaced all the torches with lanterns. I also added a doorbell. The least any invading human can do is ring the bell first. I then headed inside and cleared out a wall and added a window. Inside, I put some cushions and bookshelves to make a sitting room. The voles were really getting into their books, so I thought they'd enjoy the space. Later that evening, I was lounging in the sitting room with Bella.
I've just got to tell you, Zozo, you're a really great friend. To me, the voles, everyone you meet. And plus, this base looks amazing.
Thanks, Bella. That means a lot coming from you. On days 63 to 66, I heard someone ringing the doorbell and went out to take a look. Perched outside was the crane.
Good morning, sir. It would seem your next challenger is ready. He'll be even tougher than before, but the crowd has been begging to see you in action again. I think you really made an impression on them.
Okay, great. I'll be there. Later on, I was back at the arena. The gate opened and I stepped into the ring. The crowd was still in darkness, but they sounded excited to see me. Across the arena, I saw a honey badger had stepped in to face me. We squared off, and as soon as the bell was rung, we leapt into action. The crane was right. This honey badger was way stronger than my last fight, and his claws were really hurting. Sorry, but I've got a family to fight for. I thought about everything Bella had told me about and tried to put it into action. Once I started landing the more powerful blows, I could tell it was only a matter of time. Soon, the badger was defeated. The crowd went wild. I did it! Like before, emeralds started to drop from the ceiling, followed by some lapis, netherite ingots, and health potions. There was also a mythical potion, which said it could only be used by a mythical hero. Huh, I wonder what this is about. It's supposed to taste like bananas too. I bet a monkey of legend would be into this. Just then, I noticed there were two small honey badgers crying on the other side of one of the gates. Hey, that wasn't your dad, was it?
No, our real dad was taken away by humans long ago, but that badger you just fought had agreed to take us in. He just needed to win the fight to get the resources to take care of us.
Oh wow, I'm so sorry. I had no idea he was also fighting for her family.
It's okay, he knew the risks. We know that you're just trying to rescue your family from the humans too. We're just tired of them ruining all of our lives.
You know what? Why don't you two come live in my base with me? There's all kinds of animals there who would love to be your family.
Wow, that would be amazing.
The two little badgers followed me back to our base. They were excited to finally have a place to call home. I went ahead and dug out a room for them to stay too. Who knows how long these two little guys had been looking for a home. On days 67 to 70, I headed out of the base. Things were really starting to come along. Where is everyone? I walked out and saw the voles were outside harvesting some wheat, but Bella was out there giving them commands. What is she doing? I headed down to talk to her. Hey, what are you doing? Telling everyone what to do?
Oh hey Zozo, I figured that since I was the Mouse of Myth, I should probably be the one calling the shots around here.
I don't really know why you keep saying you're the Mouse of Myth. There's not really any proof. For all you know, it's me.
Oh yeah? Well, if you were the Mouse of Myth, you'd already have the Frost Slayer sword.
The what?
Yeah, see? You don't even know what it is. Part of the legend is that the Mouse of Myth is able to get it from the Great Northern Tundra.
Well, you don't have it either. In fact, I'm going to get it right now.
Oh yeah? Not if I get it first.
Bella and I took off for the Great Northern Tundra. I would show her. We soon arrived, and boy was it cold. We were both so worried about getting there first, we ran right into a pack of polar bears. Uh-oh, we both fought hard to stay alive, but it was clear we couldn't fight them off fighting on our own. We changed our strategy and saw that by working together, we were able to take them all out. Ah, Bella, what are we doing? We're going to get ourselves into some serious trouble if we don't work together.
You're right. We're being really hasty. How about this? We both work together to get the sword. Once we get there, we can just see who the sword chooses. It's not really up to us who the Mouse of Myth is, anyway.
Exactly. All right, let's go get that sword. On day 71 to 74, Bella and I continued deeper into the tundra. As we traveled through the ice spikes, we soon came across a dungeon. This must be the place. No matter what happens, we'll still be friends. Deal?
Deal.
Bella and I ran down the stairs and into the dungeon. It's full of water. How are we going to get through? Just then, we noticed some levers at the top of the stairs.
These must control the platforms down there. Here, you go down and I'll work these levers.
I ran down by the water as Bella started flipping switches. After hitting the first one, a platform came out of the wall. I jumped over to it. Bella continued hitting the switches and more platforms came out of the wall. I had some close calls jumping between them, but eventually I made it to the next passageway. Hang on a second, there's a lever in here. Let me hit it and see what it does. I flipped the switch and a shortcut opened up for Bella. She hopped down.
Nice hopping. Let's see what else is in here.
We kept going down the hallway when suddenly a bunch of poison snowballs came flying out of the wall, hitting us. Ouch, those really hurt. There was a small passageway, so we ducked through there to heal up.
Zozo, I have to be honest with you.
What is it?
I know I'm really confident all the time, but the truth is, I'm not sure if I'm actually the Mouse of Myth. The old mouse woman had just told me a story so specific, I felt like it had to be me.
Yeah, it was the same thing for me. But you know what we haven't considered yet?
What's that?
Maybe she was just making the whole thing up to trick mice like us to take on the humans.
You know what? You're probably right. As if we didn't have enough reason to want to fight them. I guess we'll find out soon enough anyway.
I agreed. That's when I noticed something odd about the box we were next to. Hey, is there something in this? We looked inside and saw there was a fancy new helmet inside. My diamond helmet was still in good shape, so I let Bella take it. We decided to keep pushing on and ran out into the snowballs. We took some hits, but made it through. We soon entered a big room that was full of bad guys. We sprang into action, fighting them off. Some of them cast magic spells that dropped explosive ice blocks on us. They were really tough, but nothing could break the power of our friendship. We quickly cleared the room. I think this might be the last room up ahead. Let's finish this together. On day 75 to 78, we stepped into a large room where a snow troll was standing in the center of the room. But look what he was standing in front of. The Frost Layer, I can see it.
Let's get that troll out of our way.
Bella and I sprinted in, swinging our weapons as hard as we could. This guy was unbelievably strong. His blows did a lot of damage, and no matter how hard we hit him, it seemed like he wasn't even hurt. This guy is crazy. I don't know if we can beat him. Our health was dropping fast too. Maybe neither of us was the Mouse of Myth, and it was all going to end here. But just then, I had an idea. Bella, follow my lead. Hey, Dum-Dum, over here! We took off running, and he followed us over by one of the support pillars. He swung his stone column at me, but I jumped out of the way, causing him to hit the support pillar. There was a crack, and suddenly, the whole pillar fell over, smashing the troll.
Zozo, that was brilliant. Go on, you can grab the sword first.
I stepped up and took a hold of the sword. Suddenly, nothing happened. It was just a normal sword. There's nothing special about this sword. Here, I tossed the sword over to Bella, who picked it up.
You're right, this is just like holding any other sword. That legend must not be true. Otherwise, only one of us could have held this.
True, or maybe it's just about anyone. No one is born the Mouse of Myth. You become it by trying. Suddenly, there was a rumbling sound, and the roof started to cave in. Without the support column, we were all in danger. We ran as fast as we could and made it out of the room just in time. On days 79 to 84, we had made it back to the base and settled back in for the night. The next day, I had a lot of work to do. I started by doubling the size of our farm so everyone would have plenty to eat. Then I got busy putting in a path around it. This was going to be much easier to navigate. Then I went over and put together an archery range for the squirrels. They had been really helpful when the zombies had attacked, so I wanted to give them an even better training ground. Nice shooting, guys. If humans show up here, they aren't going to know what hit them. The Volts had also mentioned to me how they were reading all about gardening and wanted to try their hand at maintaining a garden. So I put in a small garden for them to manage as well.
Yeah, we better get the pruners out. These roses are already looking a little wild. And keep a close eye on those poppies. I'd hate to see them fall to the weeds.
With so many animals around, the outdoors were starting to get a little untidy, so I made a small storage shack for us to stash all of our odds and ends. Part of these improvements was also getting a better space for us to improve our weapons and armor, so I built a smithy area for us to do everything we needed to do. I thought it turned out pretty nice. With the new smithy, I took some time to fix up all of my diamond gear, as Bella fired up the blast furnace to make improvements to her equipment too. Then I headed inside to the smithing table, where I used all of the netherite I had won in the arena to upgrade my diamond gear to netherite. Then I brought the new gear over to the enchanting table, where I enchanted all of my netherite equipment. I'm going to be one unstoppable mouse now! And finally, our last project was upgrading our walls, which the Voles offered to help with. At this point, our humble little rat base was becoming a full-on castle. We gave the walls major upgrades and even built a large tower. On days 85 to 89, the Vole came running into my room with a warning.
Zozo, the humans are outside the walls. Come quickly.
I hurried and ran to the walls and could see a small army of humans were preparing to charge, but the squirrels were in position and ready to fire. Hold steady, guys. Here they come. The humans began to charge as the squirrels unleashed their arrows. Their training had paid off, and they were deadly shots. Several humans fell as they ran toward the base. It's working! The humans had lost many of their soldiers and started to run away. Yeah, nice job, everyone. They aren't tough at all. What I didn't realize was that this was just a decoy. A powerful warrior had scaled the mountain behind us and jumped into our base. What was that? I turned and saw a warrior standing in the courtyard. He said nothing as he stared up at me. Charge! I leapt into action, swinging my sword. But if there was anything I had learned, it was that friends are stronger together. Bella came running out of the base, followed by the voles. The squirrel started shooting arrows down as well. Even with our combined power though, it was quite the fight. Keep going everyone, we can defeat this guy! The warrior was strong and his armor was hard to crack. Eventually we managed to knock him over the cliff as he landed in the water. We kept on him and I swung my new Frostslayer sword with all my might. At long last, he was finally defeated. We did it! The humans will never take our land, and they certainly won't take our freedom! Suddenly I felt strength coming into me and I leveled up, gaining 8 more hearts. We will never be conquered. On days 90 to 94, I ran into Bella in the lobby, but she looked really sad. Bella, what's wrong? I thought you'd be excited after our successful fight.
I am excited about our win, but I'm just really down about this Mouse of Myth stuff. I mean, I dedicated my entire life believing I was fulfilling my destiny, but it's looking more like it was all a lie.
You know what? I think we should go talk to that old mouse woman. Even if it's all a lie, you can at least be at peace, knowing the truth. Bella agreed and we headed out. We soon arrived back at the old woman's house. I told Bella to stay back while I knocked on the door. As the old woman came out, she was excited to see me.
Oh, look who it is. Could it be our very own Mouse of Myth?
Cut it, lady. We came here to find out the truth.
We?
Just then, Bella jumped up, which caught the old woman by surprise.
We? Why did you tell both of us the same legend? Is there a Mouse of Myth or not? Oh, yes. No. Okay. The truth. The truth is that I made it all up.
Why would you do that? That lie nearly destroyed our friendship.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never would have wanted that. The humans have been messing with mice for decades, and no one ever seemed brave enough to stand up to them. I just thought if I made up a story, I might be able to inspire someone to actually do it. They took my family years ago, and I've always wanted revenge.
Well, I suppose there are worse things to lie about. We do want to teach them a lesson, and are actually strong enough to do something about it after all. Bella agreed, and we had a nice chat with the old woman about her family. She sounded lonely living out here, so I invited her to stay at the base with us. She agreed, but on one condition. We had to rebuild her house exactly the same. I took some time to take down her house so that we'd have all the right pieces. Then later, back at the base, I reconstructed it so it would be exactly how it was before. She was delighted to have a familiar but safe place to stay. On days 95 to 97, I walked out of the base to see the crane waiting for me.
Oh, good morning again, sir. I know you've got your hands full, but your next challenger is ready for you. The crowd has said that they wish to see you fight once more. I'm sure they will make it worth your while.
Well, one more round of upgrades before we fight the humans would be nice. Okay, I'll do it. The crane nodded before flying up and away. Later that day, I arrived back at the arena entrance, ready for my fight. I entered in and headed back into the arena. As the gate opened on the other side, I was shocked to see who it was. Bella, what are you doing here?
It's okay, Zozo. We don't have to fight to the death. I've been doing these fights too so that I can train. Come on, it'll be a fun training exercise. We can see who is actually the strongest.
Well, alright. I don't know if the crowd will like it, but obviously I don't want either of us to be eliminated.
Of course not. Bring it on.
Bella and I charged at each other. We weren't planning on taking each other out, but neither of us were holding back. The crowd was going absolutely crazy. Bella, is this too much? Maybe we should stop.
No, listen to them. They're loving it. We've got to give them a good show if we want them to still pay out at the end.
It didn't feel right to me, but we kept fighting on. Bella was such an amazing fighter, but she had taught me all of her moves. I landed a really hard hit, and Bella backed off.
Oh, okay. I think we need to stop there. Nice hit, Zozo.
Yeah, of course. You really had me on the ropes. Once the crowd realized what was happening, they started to boo. I could hear the crane's voice coming from the stands.
Zozo, what are you waiting for? Finish her off.
What? No, she's my friend.
Fine, but people came here expecting a finale, and I'm going to give it to them.
Just then, the crane dropped in from the darkness, finishing off Bella. What have you done? The animals watching her are going to support me against you.
You mean these animals?
I looked at the balcony and saw that the crowd had stepped closer, revealing themselves to be humans. I couldn't believe the crane had been working for them this whole time. I could feel my blood beginning to boil, and in my rage, I grew into a large, ferocious rat. You're gonna pay for that! I charged at the crane, hitting him again and again, defeating him in no time. I could hear the humans laughing as one of them shouted for the guards. The gate opened and a bunch of human guards came running in. Get out of my way! The guards thought they could stop my rampage, but I was way too angry. I swung my sword with all my might and quickly took them all out. I could tell the humans watching were starting to get nervous. Don't think that you're getting away either. With my new strength, I jumped from the arena into the balcony and started to attack. They didn't realize who they were messing with. I managed to take several of them out as they tried to run away. Enough is enough. I've got to end this. I jumped back into the arena and ran out of the building. On day 98, I had made it back to my base, and my rage had turned to sadness. I couldn't believe Bella was gone. As I looked at the statue, I wanted to do something nice to remember her. Atop the mouse statue, I took some time to add the same hat that Bella had worn when we first met. She had always said it was one of her favorites. That night, I was looking at the statue when suddenly Bella appeared in front of me.
Zozo, thank you for dedicating this statue to me. I want you to know that everything is okay.
But it was never supposed to be like this. We were supposed to take down the humans together.
I know, but the truth is, I don't think you need me. I spent a lot of time thinking about the Mouse of Myth. The old woman may have made it up, but in doing so, she also made it come true. You have become the Mouse of Myth, and I'm so proud to have been your friend.
I shed a tear and thanked her for everything she had taught me. I felt like it was finally time to fulfill my destiny. It was time to save my family and the world. On day 99, I met with all of my friends in our base. Okay guys, it's time. If any of you want to stay behind, you can. No one will hold it against you. No one said a word. They were ready to fight. Very well, get geared up. We attack at nightfall. Before leaving, I ran over to the chest and grabbed the mythical potion, as well as the health potions I had gotten earlier. The team regrouped in the lobby, and we headed out for the humans' base. On my way out, I paused to look at the mouse statue. I could feel Bella was with us. We soon reached the gates to the humans' town, but how are we going to get in?
Don't worry, guys. I know just what to do.
The Vole slipped through a small hole in the side of the guard tower, popping out inside of the base. He ran over to the lever and flipped it, letting us all in. Nice going! Let's get him! We stormed into the base, running into a couple of humans. All together, we took them out with ease. Off in the distance, I could see the farmer. This time, he was geared up to fight.
There they are, Bosco. Take them out. Bosco?
Bosco attacked his owner, taking him out. Then he ran over to us.
You've had me thinking more than I have in my whole life. These humans have been so mean to other animals, and I can't be part of it. I'm here to help.
With Bosco now on our team, we charged into the streets. There were several humans geared up to fight, but they weren't ready for us. We all unleashed our attacks, knocking them out of our way. Keep going, guys, we're doing great! We kept fighting through the streets and soon came upon a mansion in the middle of town. This had to be where my family was being kept. We charged the doors and quickly took out the guards. But how are we going to get in?
Hang on, folks. I'll get us in there somehow.
The Vole started sniffing around and soon found another hole on the side of the building. He crawled through, dropping into a library maze.
Good thing I got into reading. I just have to follow the titles back to A, and then I'll be back at the front.
Using the authors as his guide, the Vole wove through the maze until he noticed a hole.
Nice, a shortcut.
He popped out and flipped the switch, letting us all inside. Just then, there was a sound in the town, and we could see the whole army was coming for us.
Quick, Zozo, go. We can hold them off.
Yeah, man, your family needs you.
You guys are the best. I will see you soon. I ran into the basement as the rest of my friends stayed back. As I entered the basement, I could see it was filled with animals, including my mouse family. Remy, it's me. We've got to get you guys out of here.
Zozo, I can't believe it. Look how big and strong you are.
Just then, I heard the gate slam and hurried back up the stairs.
Well, 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 if it isn't the rat that got away, I should have captured you when I had the chance.
You are just the worst. No monologues. I jumped into action, swinging my sword. Where had all my friends gone? Did he hurt them? I didn't have too long to think about it though, as he was really starting to hurt me. My health was dropping, and so my only option was to run away and heal up.
What's wrong? Too afraid to fight?
I had just gotten my health restored when the human caught up to me.
I was going to keep you as a pet, but something like you is too powerful to be kept alive.
We kept fighting, but I was starting to lose hope. He was too strong. I hurried and ran up the stairs to the roof to heal some more, hiding around the corner.
Come out, little mousy. I just want to talk.
This human had been the cause of so many problems. He had destroyed and captured so many of my friends. He was going to pay. I took out the mythical potion. If I'm truly the Mouse of Myth, this will help me. I drank the potion down and felt a powerful surge of energy. I gained more hearts and felt even stronger than before. It had worked. It was time to end this.
What the? How can a little rat become so powerful? What is this?
This is what happens when you mess with a guy's friends, his family, his world. The human had backed up against the edge.
No, okay, surely we can work something out.
Nope, it's over. I lunged forward and knocked him off the roof, sending him falling to the ground below. He's gone, but where are my friends? On day 100, I heard a shout as all of my friends came running over the bridge. It turned out they had pushed the soldiers all the way back into the town and defeated them. I made my way back into the dungeon and finally released my family, along with all the other animals. We laughed and we cried. It had been too long. Back at the base, everyone celebrated. Even all the way from Mousy Heaven, I felt like I could hear Bella jumping for joy. Our fight was finally over. On day 1, I spawned in as a rabbit. Oh no, I only have 1 heart. I'm gonna have to be really careful if I'm gonna survive. But check it out, I can jump high and I'm super fast. I took a look around and I could see there were tons of other bunny friends around. But suddenly, they all ran away. Hey guys, what's going on? Just then, a fox appeared. That must be why the other bunnies ran away. I had to be careful. If that fox landed just 1 hit on me, I was done for. Luckily, I was able to run really fast and jump super high, so I was able to outrun the fox and get away. The best thing I can do today is just survive. I better find a good place to hide for the night. I took a look around until I found a good spot. I dug into the side of the hill and hunkered down for the night. Maybe I can find all of my bunny friends in the morning. On day 2, I woke up and went to go look for my bunny friends. As I arrived back at the spawn point, I didn't see anyone around. Where could everyone have run off to? I wasn't sure where to start looking for them, but I had an idea. Maybe if I can build a really cool bunny house, they'll come back. If I was gonna build a cool bunny house, I needed some tools, so I headed off into the forest to get some supplies. After a while, I had gathered enough supplies to be able to build my first tools. I put as many tools together as I could, including a sword. With my new tools in hand, I headed into the mine to get some stone. As I was mining, I was suddenly attacked by a spider. Whoa, get back! I had to be really careful. If I took even one hit, I was done for. It's a good thing I had made myself a sword though, because with that, I was able to defeat him. Oh man, that was too close. I better get to work. On day 3, I got to work starting to build my new base. Since rabbits live underground, I thought it'd be cool to build out a bunch of tunnels underground. It was a lot of hard work, but soon the base was all set up. Alright, the base is done, but I don't see any more bunnies. I better go look for them. I headed off into the forest, but I could hear someone up ahead. On top of a tree, I could see a little squirrel. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing up there?
I'm up here hiding from the big bad wolf. You better watch out too.
The big bad wolf? Oh man, he sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we stick together? It'll be safer.
I think that's a great idea.
On days 4 to 5, the squirrel and I headed into the forest to get some more materials. As we explored the forest, we came across some more friends. The first animal we saw was a raccoon. Hey, have you heard of the big bad wolf?
Yeah, that guy's a real jerk, but he's been leaving me alone for the most part. I don't know if I want to get involved. Sorry.
Well, I hope you change your mind. The squirrel and I kept going through the forest until we came across a bear and her cubs. Uh-oh, I hope that bear won't eat us. I took a deep breath and walked up to the bear. Hey, do you know the big bad wolf?
Yeah, but why would I care about that guy? He doesn't bug me and I don't bug him. Say, you're looking a little tasty.
Okay, well, thanks for telling me about it. Talk to you later. Bye. The squirrel and I got out of there. I didn't want to risk anything else wanting to hunt me. As we got deeper into the forest, we started to chop down some trees.
Hey you!
I turned around and looked up into the tree. A monkey was looking down at me. Yeah, what's up?
That's my tree. What do you think you're doing, chopping down my tree?
The monkey was mad, but I only needed a little bit of wood. It didn't matter to him though, and he jumped down and charged.
You're gonna pay for this.
Uh-oh, if this monkey hit me, I was a goner. But just then, the squirrel jumped in and helped me out. Together, we were able to put up a good fight. The monkey wasn't gonna be able to hurt both of us. By working together, we were able to defeat him. Sorry, Mr. Monkey, I didn't want to fight you, but you left me with no choice. On day 6 through 8, the squirrel and I continued through the forest. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves. We had had a couple of victories, and we were getting a lot of supplies. We'd even met a few of the other animals. As I kept wandering through the forest, though, I heard something scary up ahead. As we got closer, we saw the source of the noise. It was the fox, and he had a group of bunnies cornered.
You have nowhere to run, and now I'm going to eat you.
Oh no, I can't let him eat those other bunnies. But what am I supposed to do? I can't take him on by myself. That's when I remembered I wasn't by myself. I had my squirrel friend with me. Let's do this! The squirrel just started to charge. He didn't even wait for me. Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, a little appetizer.
The fox took one swing, and the squirrel was immediately defeated. Oh no, my friend!
Looks like there's another snack over there for me too.
The fox took one look at me, but I had to get out of there. I'm not gonna be his dinner today. I'm sorry, other bunnies, but you're on your own for this one. I ran as fast as I could, straight back to my burrow. I couldn't risk having him find out where I lived, or worse, eating me. I was just gonna have to help those other bunnies out another day. I feel bad about leaving all those bunnies behind, but what was I gonna do? I'm just not strong enough. On days 9 to 11, I was feeling bad about running away, but I wasn't strong enough to fight. As I ran through the forest, I came across an abandoned village. Oh look, a ton of carrots. I gathered up as many carrots as I could. There was even a bunch of wheat and pumpkins too. I decided this would be a good place to spend the night. In the middle of the night, I woke up to a strange sound outside. Oh no, there's a bunch of skeletons out there. I ran out of the house with my sword in hand. There was no way I was going to back down this time. I charged out of the house, swinging my sword. I'm not scared of you. I kept swinging until one by one, all of the skeletons were destroyed. Man, these fights are terrifying when you only have one heart, but I feel better now that I've won a fight. Even though I had won the fight, I was too scared to go back to bed, so I decided to spend the night looking through the rest of the village. I found some more food, as well as some other supplies. I even found a whole stash of iron. Awesome, now I can start making some iron gear. I ran back over to the crafting table and put together an iron chest plate and equipped it. On day 12, I emerged from my house in the village and headed back into the forest. I was running through the woods when I saw a carrot on the ground up ahead. Oh, what luck, a free carrot. As I continued through the forest, I saw there were even more carrots. I decided to keep picking them up. I was going to need as many as I could get. Just then, I picked up one of the carrots and suddenly fell through a trapdoor. Whoa! I landed inside a small room and there were several other rabbits looking at me. Hi guys, what's going on?
You're not the big bad wolf.
I turned around and saw a large elderly bunny looking down at me. No sir, I'm not. What's going on around here?
I see you're new around here. Let me explain. For years, the forest was a beautiful and peaceful place. peace. All the animals were happy, living in harmony. The wolf would try to hunt us, but we could always get away. Then one day, something changed. The wolf had discovered some kind of magic, which he used to give himself a cloaking ability. Suddenly, we could no longer hide because we didn't know when he would attack. We have been in hiding ever since.
No, how can we stop him?
There is an ancient relic known as the Rad Glasses, crafted by our bunny ancestors. Its pieces have been scattered across the land, but if you bring them to me, I can craft them anew. They will allow you to see the wolf, even when he cloaks. Do you think you can help us?
Not very strong, but I'll do my best. On days 13 to 15, I had arrived back at my base and made a couple improvements to the inside. Then I went outside and started working on a farm and planted some of the carrots I'd collected. It wasn't much, but it was a place to call home. I needed to get some sand though, so I headed off to the desert to gather some. I managed to get a bunch of it when suddenly a group of rattlesnakes came slithering up behind me. Hey guys, can I help you? The rattlesnakes just stared at me, then they attacked. Hey, that's not very nice. Luckily their bite wasn't too bad because I still only had a heart. I was able to keep moving and I took them all out. Suddenly I felt a burst of energy and I grew into a bigger killer bunny. And look, now I have 5 hearts. I'm feeling way better already. On days 16 to 19, I returned back to the base and made a few adjustments now that I'd gotten a little bigger and stronger. Later, as I was harvesting some of my crops, I saw a squirrel walking up to the base.
Hey, I've been looking for you.
Hey there, what's up?
I saw you were with my sister when that fox attacked her. She seemed to trust you, so I want to help you too, for my sister.
I'll take all the help I can get, and I'm sorry for what happened. I'm much stronger now and won't be running away from anything. We then set off, making some more improvements to the base. It turned out the squirrel's name was Rocky, and he was happy to help. After we had finished upgrading parts of the base, he pulled me aside for a chat.
Thanks again for letting me help, Zozo. I had an idea for the base. I think we should build something that will make the other bunnies know that this is a safe place.
Oh, I know just what to make, but we're gonna need a lot of orange dye. We ran off into a flower field and got to work grabbing as many orange tulips as we could to make the dye. On days 20 to 22, we were heading back to our base when the fox popped out from around the corner.
Ah, the bunny that got away. I'm gonna get you this time.
You aren't hurting anyone this time. I jumped into battle and started swinging away at the fox. Rocky jumped into the fight too. With my new strength, the fox didn't stand a chance. We beat him easily. Nice going, Rocky. How did he find our base?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that he must have seen me and followed me here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But it reminds me, we need to start looking for the parts to those special glasses. Do you have any ideas of where we could look?
I've got one idea, but before we get there, we're gonna need some serious upgrades first.
On days 23 to 26, I was deep underground looking for resources. Luckily for me, I was able to find a bunch of iron, as well as some coal. This is just what I needed. Now I can finish making my iron armor. I took some of the stone I had collected and used it to craft a furnace. Then I added the coal and iron to smelt myself some iron bars. Once the iron bars were complete, I used them to craft myself iron tools, including an iron sword. Then I used the rest to finish crafting my iron armor. Now I'm really powered up. I decided to keep exploring the cave when I suddenly ran into a group of zombies. Try and fight me now, you fleshheads. The zombies could pack a punch, but they were no match for my new gear. I swung my sword and was able to take them out. I kept going down the tunnel when a spider dropped down from the ceiling. Oh, gross, spiders are disgusting. As the spider charged at me, I swung my sword. He managed to get a couple bites in, but he couldn't do much against my armor. Soon enough, it was defeated. I wonder what's going to be at the end of the tunnel. Up ahead, I could see something glowing in the distance. What could it be? I walked into a large open room and subscribe? Hey, it's not a bad idea. If you love going on these adventures as much as I do, I'd love for you to hit the button and the bell. That way, you'll never miss out. On days 27 to 31, Rocky and I headed into the woods to look for the first crafting item we'd need for the glasses. I could hear a noise up ahead when suddenly a wolf hopped up on some stone blocks, blocking our path.
Ooh, a delicious bunny. The big bad wolf isn't going to mind if I eat you myself.
Go on and hide, Rocky. I can take this guy. The wolf and I charged at each other. He was pretty strong, but so was I. He snarled and bit, getting some hits in. He even got me down to half a heart. But I knew I could win. Your bark is worse than your bite. I gave one more swing and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he dropped some kind of special item. What's this? I picked it up and saw it was a fire rod. Oh, cool. I wonder what this will do. Later on, I was walking along the water when a crocodile popped out and attacked me. I swung my fire rod, immediately catching him on fire. Whoa, nothing like a well-roasted croc for dinner. The crocodile panicked and jumped back into the water. Yeah, you'll think twice about messing with me next time. On days 32 to 35, Rocky and I arrived in the Badlands. Rocky had told me he had seen something strange in the area and thought it would be worth checking it out. As we rounded the corner, I saw a weird sign. Let the water lift you up. What does that mean? There was a nearby lever, so I gave it a flick and nothing happened.
What happens when you jump in the water?
Rocky jumped into the water, but there was no effect. I don't think that's it. Let's try hitting one one of these buttons. Rocky clicked on one of the buttons on the wall, and an arrow came flying out right over Rocky's head. Whoa, I don't think that's it. I guess I'll give this other one a try. I nervously reached forward and hit the button, and some redstone dust popped out.
Look, you can put the dust here to complete the circuit.
I walked over by Rocky and put down the redstone dust. Then I flipped the switch. This time, a column of water came pouring down. That did the trick. I jumped into the column of water and swam to the very top. When I reached the top, there was a chest. Inside of the chest, there were some different brick blocks, as well as one glowstone. This isn't exactly what I was expecting.
Zozo, up here.
I followed Rocky up another flight of stairs and saw some glasses frames at the top. This is just what we were looking for. The first piece. The Elder Rabbit will be excited to see this. On days 36 to 39, Rocky and I returned back to the base. First things first, I needed to craft a new fence. I couldn't risk another attack by the big bad wolf gang, or worse, the wolf himself. By using some of the brick, I was able to make a nice perimeter fence. Once that was complete, Rocky and I worked together to make him his own place too. Thanks for all your help so far, Rocky. I think it'll be good for you to have your own place.
I'm happy to be here. Let's build a pen and get some sheep. That way we can work on the statue.
Good idea. Rocky and I headed into the forest and managed to find a herd of sheep. Using leads, we roped them up and led them back to their new pen. With the sheep all locked up, I then took some orange dye and got to work dyeing all of the sheep orange. Orange, you guys glad you're not dinner? I went ahead and sheared all of the sheep, then collected all of the orange dye. From there, Rocky and I headed off to find a good spot to build the statue. Once we found a suitable location, we got to work clearing a space, building up a base, then working on the statue itself. After a bit, the first part was complete. Nice job, Rocky. This is a good spot to stop. As we were taking down the scaffolding, a group of parrots walked up to us.
Hey, you're a bunny. You must be against the big bad wolf then.
You'd be correct. What's up?
We've been on the run ever since the wolf started cloaking. Nowhere feels safe.
I know what you mean, but there's safety in numbers. You guys should come join us at our base.
That's just what we need. We'll go gather our things and then we'll meet you there.
I told them where to go, and they headed off. Back at the base, Rocky and I got to work building them their own house to stay. I couldn't believe the wolf was even hunting birds. We'd do our best to keep them safe. I started days 40 to 43 by putting in some paths throughout the base. The next morning, I got to work harvesting the carrots and planting some pumpkins. Then I filled the rest of the spots with carrots. We've got a lot of new friends starting to show up. I've got to be sure everyone is well fed. Just then, the parrots walked up and I finally got to show them the place I had built for them. They were really excited to have a safe place to rest. After they took a look around, their leader came to talk to me.
You're looking for the parts of the rad glasses, right? The ones that let you see the invisible wolf?
I am. Do you know something about their parts?
Only rumors. I've really only heard about one of the parts, that is. But I don't know if you're gonna love where you have to go to find it.
I'll do whatever it takes. On days 44 to 49, I was getting ready to leave my base for the new location. I think it'll be better for you to stay here, Rocky. I don't know if this will be the best place for a squirrel. Rocky understood and agreed to work on the base while I was gone. After a long journey, I finally arrived in the area the parrot had told me about. Oh man, it's freezing here. No wonder the parrot said I wouldn't like it. Just then, I stumbled across an abandoned igloo. This will be a great place to stop and rest. As I left the igloo though, I was suddenly attacked by a snow leopard. Whoa, where did you come from? The snow leopard was vicious. He had giant fangs and powerful claws. He must have set this camp up as a trap. I'll never let the wolf and his allies win. I swung with all my power and took him out. It's a good thing I upgraded all my armor before I left. Otherwise, I'd be rabbit stew. On days 50 to 53, I had finally made it out of the cold and arrived at the place the parrot had mentioned. As I walked up to the tower, I saw there were two wolves standing guard. Hey, can I come in?
No.
Well, that was a short conversation. I don't know why I even bothered asking. They're wolves. Of course they'll just attack me. This wolf was just a junior guard, so I finished him off easily. You're not getting in my way either. I turned and attacked the other guard too, who didn't put up much of a fight, and I defeated him in no time. All right, let's get that glasses part. I climbed to the top of the tower, but there was another wolf waiting for me. This one was stronger than the others. By using my fire rod though, I managed to light him on fire and eventually take him out, nearly losing my life in the process.
Hey there, can you help me out?
I took out my axe and started chopping away at the nearby cage. There was no part for the glasses, but there was a bunny trapped inside.
Thanks for breaking me out. Let me guess. You were looking for a piece of the glasses.
Yeah, I was. Do you know anything about it?
I was here looking for it too, but I guess it got moved to a dungeon far away from here. That's what I heard the henchmen saying anyway.
Shoot, that is in the complete opposite direction. Well, might as well stop at my base in the meantime. Feel free to join me there. The rabbit agreed, and we headed off for the base. On days 54 to 57, the bunny and I arrived back at the base, which was on fire. Oh no, what's going on? As I got closer, I could see that the base was being attacked by a pack of wolves. Standing outside the base, I could see the big bad wolf. He was giving orders to his men. The wolf gang headed into the base and rounded up all the parrots. They were taking taking them prisoner. I don't have the glasses yet, but I have to do something. I sprinted into the base, sword in hand. The wolves attacked. Get out of my home. We never did anything to you. One by one, I cut down all the wolves. Soon enough, the only one left was Mr. Big Bad. You're gonna pay for this. I charged at the big bad wolf, leaping into the air, when suddenly he disappeared. Oh, you coward. I'll find you. On days 58 to 62, I took a look around at all of the damage. I couldn't believe I didn't keep everyone safe. As I walked around, I could see that everyone was gone. That's when I heard a noise from under the table. Rocky, what are you doing under there?
Zozo, I was so scared, but this was all my fault. I told the wolves where the base was. He had captured my squirrel friend and said he would hurt him if I didn't tell him where to go.
Rocky, you should have told me. We could have rescued your friend together.
I know, I'm so sorry. In the end, he didn't let my friend go and just took away all of our new friends. I hope you can forgive me.
I felt bad for Rocky. I could tell he was sorry. It's okay. I know you just wanted to help your friend. We can figure it out together. In the meantime, though, we better go get some supplies to rebuild the base. From there, I headed into the mines and managed to find plenty of iron, as well as some gold and coal. I smelted down all of the iron and used it to make some iron bars. Then I headed out to the river and scooped up a bunch of clay. I then used the clay to make more bricks. At long last, I headed outside and replaced the fence with iron bars, while also repairing any other holes with the bricks. It took a while, but soon, the defenses were complete. Those wolves are gonna have a heck of a time breaking in again. On days 63 to 66, I told the bunny and Rocky to hang back at the base while I headed out to the dungeon. This could be dangerous, and I didn't want to lose any more friends. The journey was a long one, and I passed through all kinds of different terrain. As I was passing over a mountain, I saw a wolf in the distance, just as it destroyed a baby elephant. It was the big bad wolf. What have you done? I charged at the wolf, but he disappeared again. What kind of monster would attack an innocent elephant? As I looked down, the elephant's mom came over the hill.
What have you done to my baby?
No, it wasn't me. It was the big bad wolf. The elephant didn't care, and she attacked. I took a few swings to keep her back as I tried to explain, but she wasn't listening. My only option was to run away as fast as I could. On days 67 to 70, I could see the entrance to the cave up ahead. It looked really dark and scary. This must be it. Who knows what's waiting for me inside? I entered the cave and soon found out. Waiting for me was a group of skeletons. Why are you guys so creepy? The skeletons swung their swords and shot their arrows as I jumped around, hitting them with my sword. They got some hits in, but I was able to take them all out. I headed deeper into the caves and saw a spawner. Let's just get rid of this. I can't fight these mobs off for forever. On days 71 to 74, I pushed further into the mines when I saw some diamonds.
Wow.
Oh, those would help me so much. I quickly put up a bridge to cross over when suddenly the wall exploded and a zombified piglin came bursting through. Whoa! I quickly pulled out my fire rod and lit him up. He lit on fire, but my fire rod broke. Ouch, he's so strong. I swung with my sword as my health dropped, finally taking him out. As he disappeared, he dropped something. I picked it up, a diamond hammer. This thing is powerful, and I'm getting it just in time too. Excited about my new weapon, I headed back over to the diamonds and mined them out, being careful not to drop them in the lava. With the diamonds in hand, I put down a crafting table and made myself a pair of diamond leggings to replace my iron ones. Maybe we can make it through here after all. On days 75 to 78, I had finally reached a big empty room. There was a chest on the other side. Hello? Looks like this place is deserted. I walked over to the chest when suddenly I heard a thump behind me. I turned around and saw a giant spider had dropped down from the ceiling. Oh, hey man, you mind if I grab what's in the chest and leave?
You wish, buddy boy. You're not getting out of here alive.
I thought you might say something like that. Just then, the spider leaped forward and attacked. I got hidden, but not before he started shooting his webs at me. Oh boy, this isn't going to be as easy as I was hoping.
Looks like it's time to get my very own lucky rabbit foot.
That's just a weird thing to say. The spider charged at me, but I was ready. I jumped out of the way, causing him to jump into the pool of lava. I'll keep my feet, thanks. Just then, I felt the energy surge through me, and I leveled up into a buff bunny man. Whoa, I have 10 hearts now, too. I went over to the chest and opened it. Inside were the lenses to the rad glasses, along with a bunch of diamonds. I can't wait to see what the Elder Rabbit can do with these. On day 79 to 84, I arrived at the Elder Rabbit's house. Sir, I've got everything you need to remake the rad glasses.
Zozo, well done, well done. This is just what we needed.
The Elder Rabbit quickly turned to his enchanting table and assembled the glasses, imbuing them with special power. He turned and tossed them back to me.
Take these and take courage. The hope of all bunny kind rests with you now. We know you can do it.
Thank you. I'll give it everything I've got. I turned and left his house. Time to get ready for the final fight. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back at the base and saw the rabbit and Rocky had done a great job improving it. Nice job, you guys. This place looks amazing.
Thanks, Zozo. We had a lot more creatures come and join us, so we had to build them all a place to stay.
Aren't they scared?
Yes, but they believe in you and know this is the safest place for them to be.
I sure hope so. That reminds me, we better finish our special project. There could be more creatures out there. Rocky and I headed back out to our statue and got to work finishing it up. This carrot was going to be a beacon to all the animals in the area that this was a safe place. It didn't take long, and we were soon finished. finished. Now let's go get prepped. We've got some wolf butt to kick. On days 90 to 94, I was back in the base, putting together some diamond armor. I used the diamonds I had found in the dungeon, as well as some additional ones Rocky had found in the cave. I better go check the chest too. Rocky said he had some stuff for me in there. I opened the chest and saw it was full of healing potions. I grabbed them all and added them to my inventory. I'm feeling pretty stacked. Let's go wolf hunting. On days 95 to 96, I ran across the land in the direction of the wolf's base. It wasn't too long until I hit a river. The wolf's base was supposed to be further downstream, so I chopped down a nearby tree and built myself a boat. As I paddled down the river, I soon entered a dense jungle. It wasn't too long until I came across my first wolf. Hey, leave that cat alone! I ran ashore and started swinging, saving the cat.
Thank you. I thought I was a goner for sure.
No problem. I'm just glad you're okay.
You're so nice. Here, follow me. I saw something I think you'll find useful.
Cat set off into the trees as I followed close behind. We soon reached a small stone building covered in cobwebs. I cut down the webs and opened the chest inside. A trident and a shield. You're right. These will help a ton. Thank you.
Happy to help. I owe you after all.
I invited the cat to stay at my base, to which he happily agreed. I decided to give the trident a test, sticking it into the nearby tree. This thing is awesome. It's definitely going to help in the fight. I headed back to my boat and kept rowing down the river. Suddenly, the crocodile from before popped out. This guy again. I thought I taught him a lesson the last time. The crocodile lunged at me, catching me in his jaws. Oh, let me go! I swung my sword as he kept trying to do damage to me. This guy was tough. Let's see how you like this. I took out my trident and threw it, spearing him into oblivion. Better luck next time, pal. On days 97 to 98, I was rowing down the river when I saw my stop up ahead. I jumped out of the boat and started climbing the mountain. The wolf's lair soon came into view. As I got closer, a couple of wolves attacked. Sorry guys, but you picked the wrong guy for a boss. By using my sword, trident, and shield, I managed to fend them off. I entered the mansion, and more wolves attacked. They were vicious, but they were no match for my new armor and weapons. One by one, I took them out. Let's see, where could this guy be? I'll check the basement. I headed down the stairs and saw a tarantula at the end of the hallway, who charged. What's with this guy and spiders? The tarantula managed to stick me with a stinger, which poisoned me. It was doing damage, so I had to be quick. Luckily, I was able to take him out as the poison wore off. Let's try upstairs instead. I headed to the second floor as a couple of wolf guards came charging at me. I could tell these guys thought they were cool, but they couldn't get past my shield. Guess they weren't the smartest couple of doggos. I managed to take them both out. I was rounding one of the corners when a monkey came running up to me. Hey you! Oh hey! Wow, you sound just like me. That's because I am you. From the other video. Oh yeah, the video where I survived 100 days as a monkey. That's right. Yeah, I just wanted to stop by and tell people they should come watch my monkey adventure after they finish this one. I think they'll like it. I agree. That was a crazy adventure. Tell Chim Chim I say hi. I will. Good luck with the wolf. Thanks. Wow, what a nice guy. On day 99, I reached the top floor of the lair where the big bad wolf was sitting on his throne, waiting for me.
Well, 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 if it isn't the little bunny who cried wolf.
You think you're so strong, but you attack bunnies who can't see you. You're a coward.
Is that so? Now you're just making me angry, and I was already hungry. You won't like me when I'm hangry.
The wolf leaped forward and attacked. He was strong, but I was ready. He got a few bites in, but I landed some blows of my own. I could tell he wasn't expecting me to be so strong.
Let's see how you like this.
The wolf started summoning in some smaller wolves who I was able to easily outmaneuver and defeat. Then I hit the wolf with my sword, causing him to retreat. Still a coward, hiding behind others to fight for you, I see.
I'm not a coward. I'm just powerful. Enough games. This ends now.
Suddenly, the wolf disappeared and started to attack me. And now you're cloaking? You're just proving me right. The wolf reappeared on his throne.
Who cares? You'll be gone soon. No one can stop me when I use my powers.
I quickly grabbed my rad glasses and put them on. The wolf used his cloaking power again, but I could still see him.
What? How did you hit me?
Not so invisible after all, are you?
How dare you?
The wolf let out a flurry of attacks, which caught me off guard, nearly taking all of my health. Maybe I was being a little too cocky. He only had to hit me one more time, and I was done for.
Zozo!
I looked over and saw Rocky standing by the stairs.
Catch!
He threw a splash potion at me, which immediately restored all of my health.
No!
I pulled out my trident and threw it at the wolf, destroying him for good. Rocky, I can't believe you followed me here. I'm glad you did, though. You saved the day. But our work here isn't done yet. On day 100, I headed down into the basement and used my hammer to break the animals out of their cages. Be free, my friends. It's safe now. After I had broken all of the animals out, I stood by the door of the mansion as the creatures ran to freedom. Sometime later, I was back at my base, surrounded by all my new friends. Thanks for all of your help, and I'll catch you in my next adventure. On day 1, I spawned in as a fire spider. Oh cool, I got 8 legs and 4 hearts. But whoa, I'm not a regular spider. I'm a fire spider. That means I have to avoid water no matter what. I should probably look around. I started testing out my new abilities. I can jump high, run super fast, and climb up walls. Woohoo! Just as I was jumping from tree to tree, a swarm of tarantula hawks started to attack. Ah, where did you come from? Quickly, I jumped off of the tree and started running away. But these guys were fast. They even took out some of my hearts. Ouch, I need those! Realizing that I couldn't outrun these guys forever, I decided I needed to fight. I wonder if I have something that could help me fight these tarantula hawks. Just then, I looked into my inventory and saw I had an item, Web Shot. Throw at your enemies to attack or stun them. This should work. Quickly, I put this ability into effect and started throwing webs at the tarantula hawks. Whoa, this is awesome! I managed to bring down several of the tarantula hawks with my web shot until there was only one left. He quickly fled before I could take him down. Ha! And stay out, you flying fiend! I proceeded to look around a little more before I decided to call it a night. On day 2, I woke up hungry and decided to make my first web. I placed it in the tree and waited. Soon, I caught a fly. Tasty! Then I went and took a look around. I stumbled upon a hole in the ground and decided to check it out. Maybe I can find some more fire spiders here. Well, I couldn't find any more fire spiders. I managed to find some stone, but I couldn't mine it because it required tools. I better go get some resources. Just as I was about to leave, a bunch of badgers started to attack. Hey, what's the big deal? These guys were tough, but I managed to fling web shots at them and managed to defeat them. They dropped some loot in the process. I picked up a stone pickaxe and sword. Oh, these will come in handy. With the pickaxe, I mined the stone and even found some iron that I could use for later. Wow, this hole is great! After checking to make sure there were no more badgers, I decided to set up camp in the hole. After clearing out some space, I set up a little place for myself, and even started to build other houses, just in case some more spiders were to come. On day 3, I climbed out of the hole and started gathering wood from the surrounding trees. Just as I was about to bring down one of the trees, I heard a noise.
Hey, stop that down there!
Suddenly, a pigeon flew down from the top.
What do you think you are doing?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know anyone was living in this tree.
Well, there is. You can't just go around destroying everything you see like some kind of barbarian.
I didn't mean any harm, I promise. He sighed.
Just be careful next time.
Just as the pigeon was talking, a falcon came out of nowhere and started to attack.
Oh no, not this guy. You better run, little fire spider.
Instead, I used my web to attack the falcon and knock him out of the sky.
Oh, thank you so much. That falcon has been attacking me and my friends for a long time.
You're most welcome. I'm always looking for ways I can help. Why was he attacking you?
He is a servant of the Lizard King, the evil ruler who enslaves animals with fear.
Oh no, that's terrible. This Lizard King sounds like he's a real handful to deal with.
My name is Percy, and I would be happy to help you with anything you need.
Thank you, I could use help. You know, I have a place that you and your friends can stay to keep away from falcons. It's underground and I'm still building it. Would you like to come?
Most of the time, pigeons don't like living underground, but that sounds like the safe idea.
On days 4 and 5, I helped Percy put together some houses for him and his friends.
This place is going to look great, Zozo. A safe haven away from the Lizard King.
You're right. I'm gonna have to see if I can get more critters out of danger. I also don't know where any fire spiders are.
Well, in the meantime, I will stay here and continue working. Before you go, I wanted to give you this.
Percy gave me some iron armor and a sword, made from the iron I had found earlier.
I thought it best for your journey. Take care, my fiery spider friend.
Thanks, Percy. I will return. Soon I was off to find the Lizard King, when all of a sudden, the tarantula hawk I fought on the first day returned with even more of his friends.
We shall have our revenge on you.
They all started swarming me with their stingers. Ouch, leave me alone! With the new sword, I managed to defeat most of the tarantula hawks, but the main tarantula hawk was heading right for me.
I will defeat you and take you to the Lizard King myself.
He was tougher to beat than the other tarantula hawks. I even took some damage from him. You may be strong, but I won't be defeated. Dodging his blows with my speed and jumping ability, I kept on striking him until at last he was defeated. As he disappeared, he dropped some bronze armor as well as a beaker of poison. If I'm going to come in contact with any more of the Lizard King's minions, I'm gonna need this. On days 6 through 8, I continued my journey to find the Lizard King. Along the way, I managed to find a village. Hello, anyone here? I went through all the buildings, gathering supplies where I could find them, but could not find anyone. How could an entire village just vanish like this? I started hearing what sounded like voices from one of the center buildings. Maybe there are some villagers still here. After following the voices, I discovered who was in the building. It was the Lizard King. He had on a huge crown and had big red eyes. Yikes, those are gonna haunt my nightmares. Gathering up what courage I had, I charged towards the Lizard King. Hey, why are you being so cruel to all the creatures of this land? They just want to live peaceful lives, free from bullies like you. The Lizard King looked at me with those red eyes.
The tiny fire spider who defeated my tarantula hawks. You will pay for your actions. Attack!
Then all of a sudden, the floor started shaking, and from out of the ground spawned a giant desert centipede. Uh-oh, this could be bad. The centipede was strong, it had over 20 hearts, and it was quick. It's a good thing I can jump and climb, or this thing would surely take me out. Then I remembered I had the beaker of poison, and prepared to use it on the centipede. Just as I was about to use it, the centipede attacked and knocked the beaker out of my hand, shattering on the floor. Oh no! The centipede grabbed onto me, shaking me around with its mandibles, and shaking the hearts out of me. This is not good. Just as I was about to lose my last heart, the Lizard King commanded he let me go.
That's enough. I still need subjects to rule. You really thought you could defeat me? Huh. Come back again when you are worthy.
That fight did a lot of damage to me, and all of a sudden, I blacked out. On days 9 and 10, I awoke to a different location. It looked like one of the houses in the village, only it was really damaged and there were webs on the walls. Ah, spiders! Oh, wait, I'm a spider too. I climbed around the damaged house to see if any more spiders were around. Hello? Any other spiders around here? Regular or fire type? Any will do. Or anyone? Preferably ones who don't want to squish me? I looked around a little more, and eventually I spotted what appeared to be a small, normal spider. Hey, where am I?
Oh good, you're awake. It's good to see you up.
Where's the Lizard King? Where's the centipede?
You fought the Lizard King and his centipede? It's a miracle you're still alive. When I found you, they were both gone. I was really worried you weren't going to wake up, but couldn't not help a spider in need. We brought you here to look after you.
We? Who's we?
Well, me and my brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters? There's more of you?
Oh yes, at least 700. We live in dark, shadowy areas near here, under the protection of Daddy Longlegs. Would you like to meet him?
Sure. Oh, and what's your name?
Marcy. I'm a jumping spider.
Indeed. Lead the way, Marcy. On days 11 to 12, Marcy led me to a secret passageway where we climbed down into a dark hall. Through the hall, we came upon the cave of Daddy Longlegs. It was surrounded by several different spiders of all different types and sizes.
Daddy Longlegs, here's the fire spider who fought the centipede. He is healed and wishes to meet with you.
Proceed, good spider.
I am Zozo, and I come to help fight against the evil of the Lizard King.
You are indeed brave, Zozo, but I am afraid the Lizard King cannot be defeated.
What do you mean? How can he not be defeated?
He controls the predators of the animal kingdom, forcing us spiders to live underground. Any attempt we have tried to fight against him, he takes out numbers of us. I'm afraid it's too risky for our survival.
I understand your concern, Daddy Longlegs, but we cannot keep living in fear. Someone has to do something. If nobody else will, then I will. But I know together we can do better, be stronger. Some of us might be squashed in a moment, but surely he can't stop all of us. Then I could hear Marcy cheering from the back.
Huzzah! Huzzah!
Her cheering led to all the other spiders starting to cheer as well. Huzzah! Daddy Longlegs looked convinced and agreed to help me.
All right, Zozo, you have made your point. I will send some spiders to help you on your journey. Perhaps we truly can defeat the Lizard King.
3 spiders volunteered to help me on my quest. First was Taylor, a massive tarantula.
Yeah, dude.
Then there was Bruno, an orb-weaving spider.
Do you need a web? I got a web. It's a nice web. Did I tell you about my web?
This guy really likes his web.
Yeah, man.
Finally, there was Scarlet. She was a black widow.
I can turn anyone's life into a tragedy.
Well, I hope that will come in handy for us. Nice to meet all of you. Together, let's take this guy down.
On days 13 to 15, we arrived back at my hole base. I didn't know how Percy and his friends were going to take there being more spiders, so I proceeded with caution.
Hello, Zozo.
Hey, Percy. Wow, you got a lot of work done. This base is looking even better than I thought it could.
Thanks. I managed to convince some other birds and animals to come make this their new home.
You've done great. Hey, I wanted to tell you something.
Sure. What is... Oh, more spiders! What the... What are these animals doing here?
They look tasty to me. Yeah, dude.
Before this tension was to become a battle, I had to calm down both sides. Listen, in order for us to defeat the Lizard King, we must stay strong together, no matter what species we are. Also, no eating the birds.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
After that was over, I managed to get everyone working together to create a giant statue of our hero. I hoped it could be seen as a symbol of justice and goodness for all walks of life. Can you tell what we're building? On days 16 to 19, I got a chance to meet all the new members of the base. Hey, how are you? Good to see ya. Welcome. I even ran into some unexpected guests. Oh no, the badgers again.
Wait, we're sorry for attacking you earlier. We just didn't have any other place to go. We saw how you built this place, and your friend Percy said it was okay for us to stay.
So wait, we're all on the same team?
Yep, we're also really sorry for attacking you earlier.
It's all right. I guess I can understand you being scared of someone trying to harm you. Welcome to the base. I have said that no matter our differences, we've got to work together to defeat the Lizard King.
Thank you.
Just as I was going around meeting new people, I saw Marcy run in looking for me.
I am delivering gifts for you for your journey. These are from Daddy Longlegs.
Marcy presented me with a new silver armor and sword with a special ability, Poisonous Attack.
What would I do without you and Daddy Longlegs? This will be great for my journey. Thanks, Marcy.
You're welcome. Say, this place is pretty nice. Do you think I can tell the other spiders about it?
Sure. It's not quite finished though, but maybe when I'm done you guys can come see it. There was a lot of you, so I've got to make sure everyone is really impressed.
Deal.
On days 20 to 22, Taylor, Bruno, Scarlet, and I were off to catch the Lizard King. On the road, Scarlet spotted some signs up ahead.
We should be careful. It looks like we are entering into the realm of the ants.
Ants? Are they dangerous?
They attack in numbers and can overwhelm any creature bigger than they are.
Even someone like Taylor?
Yeah, dude.
Well, then we will definitely be cautious. I can't imagine anything worse than being dogpiled by a bunch of creepy crawlers.
We scoured around for a bit, when all of a sudden a giant zombie praying mantis arose from under the ground.
Gosh, he must have been attacked by the ants. Those guys are vicious.
Yeah, now we gotta put him out of his misery.
Bruno started making a web net to trap the praying mantis in, and Taylor threw it over to the mantis, trapping him.
I think we got him.
Just then, the mantis started tearing his way through the web net. Don't worry, guys, I got this. I jumped toward the praying mantis and started using my new sword. Say your prayers now, mantis. Within a few strikes, he was finally defeated, and I felt something inside me start to change. I increased in size and even had more hearts. My attacks felt stronger too, infused with even more fiery goodness. On days 23 to 26, we finally got to the anthill.
We need to be cautious. The ants could attack if we are spotted. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not interested in becoming a zombie fire spider today.
Just then, a fireball flew overhead. It was the ant guards, and they were shooting at us with trebuchets. Ah, talk about fire ants! All of a sudden, Bruno started working on what appeared to be a giant slingshot. Oh, great idea! Scarlet had some TNT, as well as some flint and steel. We decided that would work perfectly for returning fire.
Bombs away.
We took out the trebuchet and sent the ants running into their hill. Way to go, team! On days 27 to 31, we decided to go inside the hill. Wow, these guys have been busy. Inside, we found a lot of cool items that I could use for the compound and the statue. Glowstones, I can use these. As we journeyed deeper into the caves, we saw a hidden message on the wall. Subscribe? That's not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
A little further, and we began to see what appeared to be a story by the ants.
Apparently, the Queen Ant was tricked by the Lizard King, and now he has a puppet queen acting for him.
That's terrible. These ants should not be under the control of a puppet ruler. We need to do something. All of a sudden, something occurred. Ants began to crawl out from the walls. Get back! I mean it! No matter how hard we fought, the ants were too numerous, and they captured us. On days 32 to 35, the ants led us to the deeper parts of the anthill. Where are you taking us?
I kept trying to talk to them, but they would not respond. It was as if something was wrong with them completely.
Hello, can you hear me?
Eventually, we came to what I suppose is their throne room. The Queen Ant sat there looking sinister.
Spiders? How disgusting. You will make a fine specimen for the Lizard King. Though my children and I are getting hungry.
I'm getting pretty tired of creatures telling me they want to eat me. How about I give you something to eat instead?
I looked up and I could see what looked like a chandelier made of glowstones. I fired a web shot at it and the whole thing started to come crashing down.
No, not the chandelier.
I fell hard onto the Queen Ant, squishing her.
Whoa, what a way to go.
On days 36 to 39, we began leaving the hill. The hill was even bigger than I remembered, as we wove through many different hallways. We got lost more than once.
Man, how could one place look the same at every turn?
When we finally decided on a place to go, more ants came toward us. If we couldn't get out, we'd be in real trouble.
Stay back, we're armed!
Well, technically legged.
No, please don't hurt us, and we don't want to hurt you.
Okay, well then what is it you do want?
We are servants of the true Queen Ant. When you defeated the other queen, we finally freed her, and she wanted to thank you.
Well, that's very nice of her. I'm glad she's back on her throne.
Feel free to come back anytime. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I did have one question. How do we get out?
Oh, right. You go up, make a left, and climb out of the big hole in the top.
Okay, that seems simple enough. Thanks.
No problem. You can climb, right?
Spider.
Oh, right.
On days 40 to 43, we thought it would be best to get back to the compound and put these glowstones to good use. Percy was doing a great job building places for the new creatures finding out about this place.
If there is one thing we birds know, it is how to make a nest to come home to.
You're doing great, Percy. I also thought these could come in handy.
Glowstones, excellent. It was starting to look a little dark here.
Right away, we got to work using the glowstones to create light fixtures around the compound. I also made sure that these were built strong enough so that no one could get hurt if they were damaged.
The last thing we'd want is for there to be another Queen Ant situation. No one likes to get smushed.
When a spider builds something, it is made to last.
Also, when birds, badgers, and other wildlife chip in on the building, it definitely helps in the long run.
On days 44 to 50, I continued working on the statue. I'm really excited about this one and feel like it's coming along really well. Can you tell what the statue is yet?
All of a sudden, I could see a little jumping creature appearing in the horizon. Marcy, it's good to see you.
Oh, Zozo, I'm glad I found you. I have terrible news.
Oh no, what's the problem?
The Lizard King attacked the spider base with an army of scorpions.
Scorpions? Really?
Yes, they are one of our biggest enemies.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I really didn't think he'd be bold enough to take on the entire spider nest at one time. I'm sorry I couldn't have stopped him from doing this.
So am I. I wanted to tell you so you won't have to have the same fate. Now we have nowhere safe.
Wait a minute. Why don't you all come live at my base?
Wait, really? Are you sure you won't mind all of us living with you?
Of course not. Besides, us spiders need to stick together. Plus, I've got plenty of room here. There's no limit to the amount of houses we can make for everyone.
Ha! I see what you did there. I better go tell the other spiders right now.
Quickly, I got started gathering more materials and supplies to start building for my new neighbors. I took a good long while to gather the stuff and start building, but it was all worth it. On days 51 to 53, all of the spiders arrived. Whoa, there sure are a lot of you. Welcome. Among the spiders appeared Daddy Longlegs, and I went over to greet him. Hi, Daddy Longlegs. I'm glad to see you're all right. You're all welcome here.
Thank you, Zozo, for doing this. You have given the spiders and many others hope.
It was my pleasure. The spiders sure are honored and lucky to have a protector like you.
Oh no, Zozo. I may have been their protector before, but you are their protector now. However, if you need advice, I will always be around.
I will definitely appreciate that. I know you've seen a lot of spiders in your day. I'd never be able to lead anyone as well as you have. Afterwards, I introduced Daddy Longlegs and the other spiders to the rest of the compound. They got along pretty well. I loved seeing everyone so happy to make new friends. On days 54 to 57, the whole compound got together to start building walls so no intruders could come in. When most of the building was completed, we decided we should celebrate the new compound community. Daddy Longlegs prepared to give a speech.
I am truly thankful that we can all live in harmony, thanks to our magnificent friend, Zozo.
Oh, guys, I appreciate that. While Daddy Longlegs kept speaking, no one noticed a group of scorpions sneaking up behind him. Daddy Longlegs, look out! But he didn't hear me, and one of the scorpions stabbed him in the back with a stinger.
Oh no, Daddy Longlegs!
The spiders began attacking the scorpions while I tried to lead Daddy Longlegs to safety. Just stay here, you're gonna be fine.
No, Zozo, it's time for me to go.
What? You can't go, it's not over yet.
It's okay, Zozo. Take care of them all for me.
I will. I stayed with Daddy Longlegs until the end. When I checked back, the spiders won the battle. Sadly, it was up to me to share the sad news. On days 58 to 62, the whole compound worked together to build a memorial for Daddy Longlegs. Rest in peace, Daddy Longlegs. You will be missed by us all. I promise I will do what needs to be done. While we were sad at the loss of our friend, we all realized we needed better fortifications. We spent a good portion of the days building up the walls and putting up watchtowers. I was so embarrassed that we were attacked when we thought we were safe. This should protect us, but I just wish I could have done more.
Don't go blaming yourself, Zozo. Nobody could have guessed what was going to happen.
To take my mind off of all of this, I went back to finish the statue. Maybe this could give us some more hope. Now can you tell who our spider hero is? It's the most famous web slinger of all time, Spider-Man, of course. Just as I completed it, Scarlet showed up and told me a messenger came to see me. We ran to the gate to see it was the ant from the anthill. Hello, what are you doing here?
We heard about your attack. We are sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It has been hard for a lot of us.
Our queen wanted to give you something for your loss, as well as your fight against the Lizard King.
The ant handed over a wrapped gift and told me to use it wisely. I couldn't wait to see what it was. I will definitely treasure this. Thank you, and thank your queen for me.
I shall, and you are most welcome.
On days 63 to 66, I opened the package to reveal a bunch of potions. Inside there was a health upgrade potion. I took it right away, and I gained 8 more hearts. I took a look at the other potions. Stinger Shock can cause your enemy to be paralyzed and allow you to either heal or attack. Boy, if I ever run into that centipede again, I am gonna use this. I met with my friends and told them that this would be my final mission.
Be careful, Zozo.
I will. I promise to return. We have lost too many friends for me to fail.
Good luck, Zozo. Go end this monster, once and for all.
Yeah, dude.
I said goodbye to my friends, and then I was off. All I could do was hope that I would see them again soon. On day 67 through 70, I journeyed off to find the Palace of the Lizard King. I first traveled toward the abandoned village where I first fought the centipede. I don't see him anywhere here. While I continued to look around, I spotted what appeared to be an ancient door. I wonder how long this has been here for. There was an inscription on the door that looked a little faded. I will with water when it rains. When sunlight comes, the water drains. To climb me is to achieve great gains. I quickly realized that it was a riddle and began putting it together. I got it, a water spout. The answer is a water spout. With this proclamation of the answer, the door cracked open to reveal a chest inside. I opened the box to show a full set of diamond armor and sword. I quickly put them to good use. Yeah, dude. I think I've been hanging out with Taylor a bit too much. On day 71 through 74, I traveled into the rainforest. Just as I was scurrying along the ground, a group of howler monkeys started throwing bananas at me. Oh, whoa! At least it's just bananas. One of the monkeys was huge. He must have been their leader. I started throwing web shots at him, trying to knock him out of the tree. You are not defeating me today! I managed to knock several monkeys out of the trees, forcing them to run away. The big monkey was the only one left. You might be strong, but you won't get me. With one last web shot, I knocked the monkey out of the tree and cornered him. Where is the Lizard King? Where is his palace? The big monkey gestured over in a direction. Afterwards, I went off that way. You know, that monkey looked kind of familiar. Yeah, it was probably nothing. On day 75 to 78, I journeyed along until I came to a river. Uh-oh, it's my old nemesis, water. The river was way too wide to try and jump, and I didn't want to risk falling in, so I decided to build a bridge. I was halfway finished when out of nowhere, who was to turn up but the scorpions again. You guys, I'll make you pay for what you have done. I readied my sword and prepared to attack. This is for Daddy Longlegs. I charged at the scorpions and they leaped forward to attack me. They were strong, and I could tell they were trying to push me back into the water, but with my new armor, I could hold them off. I'll take you all on if I need to. Then I remembered I had the potion and quickly used it against the scorpions. Take this! The scorpions began to move slower, and I could see their attacks before they could make them. Block, stab, slice, gone! One by one, I took out each of the scorpions. I gathered a new item, Scorpion Tail, used to attack or intimidate enemies. Also can be used as a disguise. When all that was over, I continued making my bridge to get across the river. On day 79 to 85, I finally finished my bridge to cross the river. When I got to the other side, I found that the only way ahead was through a narrow ravine, but the entrance was guarded by 2 scorpions. Man, these guys are everywhere! While I could have attacked them, I remembered that I still had that scorpion tail in my belongings. I quickly put it on and approached them. La 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 la, just a disgusting scorpion out for a stroll. The guards didn't seem to mind and proceeded to let me through. Well, that was easy. While journeying, I wandered into an open field that looked pretty desert-like. Well, this is a weird place to put a desert. All of a sudden, I heard rumbling and could feel the ground shake. I knew right then what it was. Suddenly, the centipede bursted out of the ground, just like last time, and lunged toward me.
It was time to take my revenge.
Bring it on, leggy. That centipede was still fast and dangerous, but I was much more confident this time around. Oh, no you don't. I even used the scorpion tail to make a couple of hits, but it broke in the middle of the fight. So much for disguising myself again in the future. Take that, and that! Finally, I took out the potion again and used it for the finishing blows. I'm worthy enough this time. Prepare to be defeated. The potion worked, but the centipede was still quick. Furiously, I used everything I could to finally defeat it. Just then, I started feeling tingly. Ooh, I like this. I changed into a bigger and more powerful fire spider with even more hearts. All right now, Lizard King, prepare to meet your match. On days 86 to 90, I continued on my journey. I was feeling really confident until I realized I had just walked straight into quicksand. Oh, come on, who thinks of quicksand? Suddenly, I started thinking of ways to get out. All of a sudden, I could see Percy flying overhead. Percy, I'm glad you're here.
I can see that. How can I help?
Maybe you can pull me out, catch this chain, and start flying.
Good idea. Hit me.
I threw the line towards Percy and began flying, pulling me out of the quicksand. Oh, that was close. Thanks, Percy. What are you doing here?
I wanted to see how you were. You saved my life so many times before, and I guess I just wanted to repay you in some way.
Well, you definitely did that. If it wasn't for you, I would be in a really sticky situation. It can get risky at times, wandering around out here on my own.
You are definitely welcome, my friend. I will let the others know of your progress.
Just before he left, Percy warned me about something he saw while flying overhead.
Be careful. I saw what appeared to be a gang of bullfrogs coming in your direction. They must be heading to the palace of the Lizard King.
Bullfrogs, you say? Those things will gobble spiders up in one bite.
I'll be sure to look out for them. Thanks again, Percy. Take care. On days 91 to 94, I finally ran into the bullfrogs.
Wow, those guys are big. I didn't know bullfrogs could get that big.
For the most part, they didn't seem to notice me. That's until one of them apparently spotted me and started shooting his tongue at me. Yuck! I don't need you tasting me.
He was strong though. He even took out a couple of my hearts. If I didn't make a move, I was going to be one toasted bug.
I can't just keep fighting this guy forever. I knew I had to outmaneuver him, so I jumped into a tree and waited for him to get bored.
Luckily, he didn't seem to be the smartest of creatures, even though he was so tough.
Serves you right. I didn't come this far to become a spider snack.
On days 95 to 97, I followed the bullfrogs to the Lizard King's palace. They might have been strong, but they weren't very smart.
They led me right to where I needed to go. Wow, this is gonna be a lot. As I got closer to the gate, I spotted a message written on the palace roof. Subscribe. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Be sure to subscribe and like this video for more content. I go on a lot of adventures and would love to have you follow me on them. I tried to get through the front gate when a horde of gecko soldiers started to attack. Out of my way. I got a king to fight. I smacked the heck out of them until finally they were all defeated. This guy really loved his amphibians. On day 98, I ran inside through the palace corridors to find the Lizard King. Wow, this place is pretty ornate for a lizard. Hey, that armor looks kind of familiar. Oh yeah, I almost forgot that I had an adventure as a knight. That was a journey. You guys should definitely go check it out when you are done with this one. Through different rooms, I would occasionally have to battle some of the gecko soldiers. Don't you guys have anything better to do? Despite looking all throughout the palace, I couldn't seem to find the Lizard King anywhere. I was getting disappointed and even losing a little bit of hope. I turned around and I could see what appeared to be the ghost of a long-legged spider. Daddy Longlegs, is that you?
Yes, Zozo, it is I. I told you that I would always be there to help you. Don't give up. You are so close to the end.
You're right, Daddy Longlegs. I must continue. I'm scared though. I'm just a fire spider and I don't know if I'll defeat the Lizard King.
You may be small, but you have the spirit of a giant spider inside of you, and it's time to let that spirit out. I'm going to grant you the power that made me so big.
Something started to happen. Magic energy filled the room and I felt myself changing once again. I transformed into a gigantic fire spider. I had so many hearts now. Thanks, Daddy Longlegs. On day 99, I finally landed in the throne room. The Lizard King sat on his throne with his big red eyes staring at me.
Well, well, if it isn't the itsy-bitsy fire spider who defeated my minions. Looks like you aren't so small now, but I bet you're still weak. Come to face me at last?
I will do what I must.
Then you will croak.
Just then, he flipped a lever, and the bullfrogs I had seen earlier came in. Oh no, not these guys again! Then I remembered I still had the potion, and was about to use it when one of the frogs grabbed it with its tongue. Guess I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Using my wall-crawling abilities and spider jumps, I dodged attacks from the frogs and gave them some damage. It looked like my attacks were superpowered with fire strength now. Soon, all the frogs were defeated, though I could swear I missed one. Now it's just you and me, Lizard King.
So be it.
He charged toward me with lightning-fast speed, giving me strong blows that did cause some damage.
You should not have fought against me, Spider. I am the Lizard King.
Oh yeah? And how do you taste?
What?
Just then, the last frog I thought I missed shot his tongue out, grabbed the Lizard King by the tail, and sucked him into his mouth.
No!
I became hesitant because I didn't know how the frog was going to respond. Hey, you're that frog I fought with earlier. I'm sorry for hurting you. Truce? The frog just looked at me, then suddenly spat up the Lizard King's crown. He croaked, then proceeded to hop away. Well, I guess that means truce. On day 100, I returned to the base to see everyone there, waiting for me. I told them all about what happened with the Lizard King. Wow, I didn't even know frogs could eat lizards. Neither did I. Guess you learn something new every day.
Zozo, I'm glad you've returned.
Yeah, dude. The Lizard King's defeated. Now we're free.
This would not have been possible without you, Zozo. Thank you, from all of us. Now we can go back to living our lives in peace.
And now we have a new home for spiders of all walks of life. Then there came a commotion at the gate. What's going on over there? Suddenly, a loud croak could be heard.
Frog!
No, wait, I think I know him. Turns out it was the frog from earlier, come by to say hello. I'm glad you could come by. Just one rule, no eating anybody. The frog agreed and I proceeded to introduce him to everyone. This had been quite the adventure.
On day 1, I spawned in as an ice spider, an arachnid as cold as the Arctic reaches. All 8 of my legs are here, but why am I so little? I'm only a baby spider. That's when I realized that I was trapped inside of a magic circle. An evil-looking necromancer stood on the outside, casting a terrible spell.
A spider of ice, it will suffice. So says me, Necromancer Bryce.
Light swirled all around me, and the entire world shook. But when it stopped, I felt like I was able to move. Great! I better get out of here while I can. I tried to scurry away, but Bryce the necromancer blocked my path.
Not so fast there, Ice Spider. Your part to play is done, so now I'll destroy you and complete the spell.
Hey, I have a name, you know. It's Zozo, and I don't like it when people say they're going to destroy me.
Oh, it's nothing personal. That magic spell I just cast is going to destroy the entire world 100 days from now.
What? The entire world? You do realize that doesn't make it better, right?
But it does make it destroyed. The ritual also says that I should sacrifice the ice spider used in the spell for best results.
Well, it's not going to be this ice spider. I'm leaving, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna find a way to counteract your spell. I bolted for it as fast as my 8 legs could carry. Instead of chasing after me, the necromancer Bryce just laughed wickedly to himself.
Easier said than done, my arachnid friend. The world's destruction is close at hand.
On day 2, I managed to get far enough away from the necromancer Bryce that I could take it easy. I looked around in wonder at the glowing ancient forest around me. I also noticed that I had 10 hearts and that my hunger gauge was lowering fast. It looks like running for my life from a destruction-happy evil necromancer really works up an appetite. I searched around until I found a tree that had apples in it for me to take. Then I ate the apples until my hunger meter was full again. Surviving all alone in this world as a baby spider isn't so bad. I'm really getting the hang of it. I wasn't alone for long though, as I saw a couple of skeleton vanguards appear out from between the trees.
There you are, Ice Spider. We shall get rid of you for our master, the necromancer Bryce.
He must really want to sacrifice me if he's sending skeletons to do his bidding. I tried to fend off the skeleton vanguards, but my spider bites didn't have much of an effect on creatures made of bone.
Give up, Spider. The world is doomed, and your sacrifice will seal its fate.
The mobs kept attacking, bringing me down to my last few hearts. I thought I was doomed. But then, an energy blast distracted the skeleton vanguards and made them run away. Out of nowhere, an illusioner appeared. I realized immediately that they must have been the one who cast the spell.
Follow me, little ice spider. I'll take you to my camp. We'll be safer there.
You saved my life, so I guess I can trust you. On day 3, the illusioner took me to his campsite and cast a protective illusion barrier around both of us so that the mobs wouldn't find us. You're pretty good at casting spells, illusioner.
Please, call me Alan. Illusioner Alan.
Okay, Alan, you're pretty good at casting spells.
Thank you for saying that, but unfortunately, there are mages far more powerful than me in the world, and some of them are using their gifts for evil.
You mean like Necromancer Bryce? Is it true that his spell will end the world?
Not if we good mages have anything to say about it.
Soon after, another mage arrived at the campfire. This one was a wind caller with the power to, well, call wind.
I'm Wind Caller Windy. I'm here to see the ice spider.
That's me. I'm Ice Spider Zozo.
Oh, the winds are truly blowing in our favor. You, my amicable arachnid, may be the key to saving the entire world from destruction. Necromancer Bryce's ritual can be stopped by a more powerful spell as long as he doesn't sacrifice an ice spider.
So as long as I'm alive, there's a chance that you mages will be able to stop him.
We'll need your help too. You can battle his henchmen and travel to places which would be too dangerous for us.
You can count on me. I might still be a baby spider, but I won't let the entire world down. From day 4 to day 5, I began to make use of the trees around me to gather wood for a wooden pickaxe. Because my starting area was a forest, it didn't take long to have enough to craft the tool. But wood wouldn't be good for long if I could do better. I mined into the ground with my wooden pickaxe for some stone and quickly upgraded to a stone pickaxe. With the new and improved stone tool, I was able to gather even more stone to use for building and crafting. First, I made a stone sword to defend myself with. Next, I started building a strong shelter where I could stay safe from Necromancer Bryce and his undead minions. Illusioner Alan had chosen to come with me. His illusion spells would help keep me safe while I built the base. Thanks for all your help so far, Alan.
Remember, Zozo, do not rely on magic. It cannot keep every mob away.
I soon understood what he meant when a skeleton appeared and interrupted my building. Good thing I crafted that stone sword. I drew my weapon and brought down the skeleton with a cup of wax. My victory against the skeleton made me stronger and more experienced, and because of that, I grew out of my baby mode into a regular-sized ice spider with 30 hearts. I can shoot ice blasts now. That is more like it. From day 6 to day 8, I was out exploring in the nearby gravelly mountains when I saw a friendly gorilla being attacked by a slime ball.
Get away from me, you slime ball!
The slime ball didn't answer. It just bounced and got slime everywhere. You may be slimy, but this ice spider isn't so helpless anymore. I hit the slime ball with my stone sword over and over. It did a good amount of damage, but I was taking damage the longer I stayed in contact with the slime ball. I retreated back to a safe distance and shot the slime ball with an ice blast. It froze the mob solid, so I was able to get in a few more hits with my stone sword while it was immobilized. I repeated this 2 or 3 times with more ice blasts until the slime ball was defeated. Once the battle was over, the gorilla cheered and ran up to greet me.
Brr, I was cold just watching that, but I'm glad you're on my side.
Of course. I, Ice Spider Zozo, am all about saving others.
You're definitely the nicest ice mob I've met. Say, do you think you could talk to the other one I know and tell him to stop trying to freeze me?
Sure thing. I'll let him know that's not nice.
He's just over here in another part of the mountains.
From day 9 to day 10, the gorilla showed me to the lair of the Icy Creeper, a powerful ice mob that seemed to like to cause trouble. Gorilla seemed worried for me. That's how I knew Icy Creeper would be trouble.
Are you sure you could talk him out of being mean, Zozo?
I can certainly try. I left Gorilla behind and approached the Icy Creeper. His attention was on me immediately, but he didn't speak. It looked like I would need to talk first. Hey, I'm Ice Spider Zozo. I heard you've been trying to freeze the gorilla, and they'd like you to stop.
Well, that's very nice, but I'm not gonna. I'll freeze anyone I want.
That's so rude. What did the gorilla ever do to you?
Nothing, but this is a cold world, and I'm one cold, tough customer. If that gorilla doesn't like it, he can go to another mountain.
Don't make me fight you, Icy Creeper.
I'd like to see you try.
I fired my ice blast at the Icy Creeper, but it seemed like he was even colder than me because it barely did any damage. His own ice blast took off a bunch of my hearts. In a battle between ice creatures, I was definitely the loser for now. I ran back to the gorilla, sad that I couldn't defeat the Icy Creeper. I promised Gorilla that I'd let him stay in my base for now and come back to the Gravelly Mountains to defeat Icy Creeper at a later time. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base and began renovating the living space so that the gorilla had a place to live. I used a lot of stone bricks so it wouldn't be too different from the mountain he had left behind. Once I had built the room, I went to see the gorilla and showed him where he could stay.
Thanks for letting me stay here, Zozo. I thought you could use some more storage space, so I did a bit of building on my own.
It turned out that the gorilla really had built a room that was perfect for storing extra items. He also built a furnace that would heat up the room where he and the mages would be staying. Oh yeah, I guess you guys need to stay warm. Either way, that's very impressive work.
I call it the home away from home. Oh, I hope I get to see the mountains again before the world ends.
It's not going to end. I'll stop it.
I hope so. That necromancer Bryce has been plotting world destruction for a long time, actually. He's tried all sorts of spells to do it, and they've never worked. This one might, though, and the idea of that is really scary.
It did sound scary, and I wasted no time getting better materials to help defend myself in case Bryce showed up. Down in the mining area of the base, I went digging for some iron to upgrade my tools. I found some iron ore, which I smelted into iron ingots, then crafted into an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Back on the surface, I tamed some sheep from the nearby glowing ancient forest and built a farm for them. If that furnace fails, there's always wool sweaters. From day 13 to day 15, I sought out Illusioner Alan for some more advice on how to complete Necromancer Bryce's challenge. I want to save the world as soon as I can, Alan. Is the spell ready yet?
If only magic were that simple, Zozo. The truth is that Bryce's destruction spell is linked to you now. The only way to weaken it is for you to become stronger.
How do I do that?
When you defeated Bryce's skeleton henchman before, some of the spell's magic transferred into you. If you could defeat a more powerful one, it could happen again.
I went back to the Gravelly Mountains in the hopes of finding another undead mob to fight. Come and get me! I don't fear you, skeletons! As if answering my call to battle, a skeleton vanguard came charging across the mountain terrain towards me.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for sacrifice!
I hit the advancing skeleton vanguard with an ice blast, which slowed the undead down. I was able to hit him with another before he got into melee range. Time to get a taste of my new weapon. At that point, I brought out my iron sword and slashed the skeleton vanguard with some powerful hits. The skeleton vanguard crumbled and dropped a health potion to boot. This potion must contain some more of Bryce's magic. I drank the potion and felt my power increase dramatically. My number of hearts doubled and became 60. And I gained the magical ability to turn invisible like see-through ice. From day 16 to day 19, I continued my exploration into a brand new part of the world that I'd never seen before, the Great Lake Isles. As I crawled around this breathtaking new biome, I came across an abandoned book that contained information about the destruction spell that Necromancer Bryce had cast. A spell of destruction cast by a Necromancer must be confirmed with the sacrifice of an ice spider. For this reason, an ice spider that survives the casting of the spell can prevent the destruction of the world by being at the center of a spell of life, which is made to protect the world. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but it sounded like there was a way to turn the tide of destruction. I excitedly began to leave the Great Lake Isles when some more skeleton vanguards ambushed me to try and get me to be sacrificed.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for
Yeah, sacrifice. You creeps must have followed me from the mountains. I used my iron sword, and I pelted the mobs with ice blasts until they were all destroyed. From day 20 to day 22, I realized that my powers were far stronger now that I had grown into a bigger ice spider. I tested my mettle against some specters in the glowing ancient forest, chopping them down with my iron sword. They weren't that difficult to defeat, but the fact that they were here meant that bad omens were on the horizon. Dead becoming more common could be a sign of world destruction being on its way. I did some more mining for iron in the base cavern and grabbed enough ore to make the ingots for an iron chestplate. Now that I'm this much stronger, I bet I could stand up to the icy creeper. I returned to the icy creeper's lair in the gravelly mountains to confront the mob with my new abilities and gear.
Have you learned how cold the world is yet, Zozo?
No, I have learned that the world has good people in it that don't deserve to be frozen or destroyed. I fired my icy blast at the icy creeper, and this time, I was the one dealing damage. I had become a colder, more powerful being. Never freeze the gorilla or anyone else ever again.
All right, Zozo, I give. I'll be nice.
The icy creeper ran away, never to be mean again and never to be seen again. Upon driving away from that other ice mob, I saw a flashback to Bryce as a younger necromancer, just learning his first spells.
The world is a cold and cruel place. I know. I'll destroy it so nobody has to live in a cold, cruel world.
Guess he was similar to the icy creeper in a couple of ways. If only he knew that the world wasn't as cold and cruel as he thought it was. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base, feeling victorious. I made a beeline for the gorilla to give him the good news. I taught that icy creeper a lesson he won't forget anytime soon. I promise you that you won't be having any trouble with him now.
Wow, you are one heroic ice spider, Zozo. I'm really checking my prejudices right now. Also, I made you a gift. In case you didn't notice it on the way in, I made a perimeter wall to defend the base.
Somehow, I totally had missed the perimeter wall. It was awesome and would do a great job at repelling the roving hordes of the undead. The base is well defended. Maybe now it's time to make sure my body is better defended. I went back to the mining cavern and collected up some more iron ore that I then took back to my base and smelted into iron ingots. I used these to make the rest of my armor set. You may not be able to see the armor on me, but believe me, it's there. From day 27 to day 31, I returned to the Great Lake Isles, wanting to make sure that I'd wiped out the Skeleton Vanguard Scourge completely. The more territory I can take back from the Necromancer Bryce, the less power and resources he has to complete his dark ritual. And it seems like my earlier work had paid off, because I couldn't see a Skeleton Vanguard anywhere. Instead, what I found was a large and smart-looking golem.
Hello there, good sir. Say, I've heard quite a bit about a certain ice spider lately. Your name wouldn't happen to be Zozo, would it?
That depends. What would you do if I was Zozo?
I'd congratulate you. I'm the librarian Golem. I travel across the overworld, giving books to those who need them. And the skeleton vanguards working for that blasted necromancer had gotten in the way of my very important mission for far too long. If you are Zozo, then you are responsible for many needy people getting the books they so crave.
Well, in that case, I am Zozo. Why don't you come back to my base with me? You seem like you'd be a valuable ally.
Of course, as long as there's a place where I can read.
I returned to my base with the librarian golem and constructed a new room for him to sleep in. After completing it, I realized how dull and drab the base looked. It needed a personal touch. I harvested some wool from my sheep farm and turned them into a bunch of cool banners that I hung up around the different buildings of my base. Looking snazzy! But my joy was short-lived as Illusioner Alan ran in with frantic news.
Zozo, you need to come with me immediately. Windcaller Wendy is under attack.
From day 32 to day 35, Illusioner Alan and I ran as fast as we could to reach the campfire in the glowing ancient forest where the Windcaller liked to hang out. But by the time we arrived, it was already too late. A vicious gang of skeleton vanguards had already outnumbered and destroyed him. No!
We serve our master well. Everyone who attempts to defend you will be destroyed, Zozo. Nobody will stand in the way of your sacrifice. We will destroy this entire world.
Not if I have anything to say about it! Powered by pure rage, I went in there with all my weapons and powers and wiped out every single one of the skeleton vanguards. In the end, all that was left was myself and Illusioner Alan.
This is bad, Zozo. The Windcaller was a powerful mage and an asset to our operation. Now that she is gone, the danger grows significantly.
But we can't give up, Alan. If we give up, then nobody will stop Necromancer Bryce. We need to fight back against him with everything we have. From day 36 to day 39, I went out to the Gravelly Mountains to wander around and collect my thoughts. I was afraid about everything that had happened, but I couldn't show it in front of everyone who was working for me. Necromancer Bryce and his men are way more dangerous than I thought. My thoughts were interrupted when I ran into an incredibly strange creature, a melon golem, which I didn't even know was a thing.
What? You never see a melon golem before? You don't like melons or something?
No, I love melons. I've just never seen a melon golem before. I'm sorry if I've upset you. If you have a favor you need doing, I'd be happy to see to it and give you a hand.
Well, now that you mention it, there was an obsidian golem who was giving me some real trouble. Would you mind taking care of him before he hurts me or anyone else?
Of course, I'll get right to it. I turned on my invisibility powers and used it to search through the Gravelly Mountains until I discovered the obsidian golem. I used the element of surprise and approached him from behind, attacking him with everything I had. In the end, I managed to defeat him after a tough battle. Then I returned to the melon golem and told him that his bully was gone.
Hey, that's great news! I used to be able to trust the other golems, but a lot of them defected to the Necromancer Bryce, because most of them are hardy enough to survive the cold.
So some golems are working with the Necromancer now? That's not good news.
You point out the obvious a lot, you know.
From day 40 to day 43, I returned back to my base, pleasantly surprised by some improvements that Illusioner Alan had made to the base.
Zozo, I've made very good friends with the librarian golem. He's a wonderful chap, and we've been doing lots of discussions around the arcane arts. So I installed a sizable collection of bookshelves and couches so he can really enjoy himself here.
It's incredibly wholesome that you two have become such good friends.
And he's not the only friend I'd like to stay here. I improved the base by adding a barracks, so I could invite more of my Illusioner friends. The more mages we have at the base, the easier it will be to defend you from the Necromancer.
That sounds like a good idea to me, Alan. Not long after, a small group of other Illusioners arrived, and I greeted them and escorted them to their rooms. Not long after, the librarian golem approached me with a new quest.
Zozo! As you may have heard on the grapevine, or perhaps the melon vine, some golems defected from the overworld and joined up with that dastardly necromancer. Two in particular are the Endstone Golem and the Netherite Golem out in the Great Lake Isles. Perhaps, if you're able to defeat him, it will weaken the necromancer's power in another territory.
That's an awesome idea, Librarian Golem. I'll set off immediately. From day 44 to day 49, I set off into the Great Lake Isles to find one of the evil golems that had been working for Necromancer Bryce. I want to reduce the power of the Necromancer's spell in whatever way that I can. I thought I saw the glow of magic from one of the islands and made a stealthy approach. To my surprise, it wasn't an Endstone Golem at all, but Necromancer Bryce himself. He was muttering something, so I got closer to hear what it was.
This pathetic world does not deserve mercy. It only deserves cold destruction, and my spell will be that destruction. Soon, the hastening will be upon us.
Couldn't let him stand there and say such terrible things. Take that back, you dastardly necromancer!
Oh, it's you. You're the ice spider that dares to defy me. It seems my undead have thus far been unable to sacrifice you.
Why do you need to sacrifice me so badly anyway? What's in it for you if the entire world is destroyed?
Destroying the entire world is a thankless job, but somebody has to do it. Anyway, I've got a brand new caliber of minion now. Prepare to meet my netherite golem.
The Necromancer Bryce vanished into a cloud of magical smoke, and in his place, a netherite golem rose to its full towering height.
Greetings. I am the Netherite Golem, and I will be sacrificing today.
The other golems told me that baddies like you were bad news. Put up your big netherite dukes, and let's have a good clean fight, said the spider to the golem. I ice blasted my opponent and scurried around, avoiding his attacks. I used my invisibility to sneak in close and attack with my iron sword. The netherite golem was very strong, and he managed to hit me a couple times, dealing many hearts of damage. But I had hearts to spare now, and this fight was far from over. From day 50 to day 53, we briefly stopped to talk.
You're going to be sacrificed, Ice Spider. I'm going to crack you like ice, and then squash you like a spider.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a netherite golem, and never mind, I can't think of anything. I fired off a couple of ice blasts, then I used my iron sword to hit the netherite golem. With one more ice blast, I froze the netherite golem and brought the fight to a close with a sword strike. The netherite golem dispersed, leaving behind some mystical diamonds, which were stronger than any material I had gathered thus far. Better hang on to these so I can make a powerful tool out of these diamonds later. With the netherite golem defeated, I felt some of Necromancer Bryce's magic leaving the Great Lake Isles. From day 54 to day 57, I found the other evil golem that had chosen to serve Necromancer Bryce, the Endstone Golem, the exact golem that the library golem had sent me out to fight. This mean Endstone fighting machine was just as tough as the netherite golem I had fought before, so I knew I had to use similar strategies to take it down. Ice Spider Zozo, Golem Slayer! My invisibility proved to be a great way of avoiding attacks, and a mixture of Ice Blast and Iron Sword attacks sealed the deal! Both of the golem defectors have been defeated now. I can feel the Great Lake Isles are peaceful now. I returned to my base in the glowing ancient forest so that I could tell the tale of my victory to the library golem.
Well done, Ice Spider Zozo. Without his golems, Necromancer Bryce has lost a major facet of his evil forces. The destruction of the entire world is that much closer to being avoided.
I'm just doing my part to stop the spell.
In anticipation of your return, I did some research into the original spellbooks that contain the destruction spell. It says that the ice spider needed for the spell must come from the Ice Spikes biome. Have you ever been there before, Zozo?
Not that I can recall, but if it's my homeland, maybe I can learn something more about the spell by going there someday. From day 58 to day 62, I used the mystical diamonds that had been dropped by the netherite golem to make myself a diamond sword. Once crafted, the librarian gave me a Frostwalker enchantment book to enchant my new diamond sword with frost. What a neat enchantment, and very fitting for an ice spider. I guess magic comes naturally to me. Because of my new sword, I was inspired to seek out more diamonds down in the mine. Using my iron pickaxe, I dredged up a few more diamonds and made myself a diamond pickaxe. I decided that was enough mining for now, and I came back to see that the living area looked much nicer, and there was even a brand new fireplace. Illusioner Alan was standing by the fireplace, feeling its warmth. It looks amazing here. Is this an illusion?
I'm always telling you, Zozo, magic can't do everything. These changes to the base are 100% real.
Wow, thanks, Alan.
Building this base was such a great idea. I really like living here, so I'm glad I could make it better for everyone.
From day 63 to day 66, I was doing some more diamond mining when the gorilla who lives in my base came to visit me.
Hey, Zozo! The librarian golem told me that you're originally from the Ice Spikes. I actually know how to get there.
You do? Well, that's great. I have been meaning to take a trip out there at some point.
I'll give you the directions. Maybe you'll find out if you've got any family out there.
Following the gorilla's directions, I made my way to the ice spikes. I didn't see any ice spiders, but maybe I would meet a friendly face if I looked around. But the first face I saw didn't appear to be that friendly. It was a mountaineer with a wicked gleam in his eyes. I'm warning you, buddy. You don't want to mess with this ice spider. I have the home field advantage.
I don't want to fight you. This gleam in my eye is the gleam of adventure. I'm Mountaineer Monty, and I'm looking to climb the tallest peak in the Ice Spikes.
The tallest peak? I bet I could see everything from up there. Count me in.
Perfect! With an ice spider helping me up, I'll be able to get to the top of the tallest peak in no time.
From day 67 to day 70, I joined Mountaineer Monty, and we both climbed around on the ice spikes together, searching for the tallest peak. How will we know if the ice spike that we're climbing is the tallest or not, Monty?
We won't know until we get to the top. Keep on crawling on these walls, Ice Spider.
We went higher and higher until we found a ledge on the side of an even taller peak. Could this be the one? That's when a leap leaf jumped down from the upper ledges and started to attack. I fired an ice blast at the mob, but it dodged away. This leap leaf was faster than I expected, so I'd have to outsmart it. I turned invisible and waited for the leap leaf to land on the ground. I dashed in and hit it with my diamond sword, dealing a bunch of damage. The moment it jumped, I fired an ice blast directly at it, defeating it for good. Mountaineer Monty was impressed with my win.
That was great! And also leap leaves only live on the tallest peak, so we must be there.
Let's keep on climbing so we can find out. Within a few minutes, we had risen to the top of the entire Ice Spikes biome. This was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in all my days as an ice spider.
Thank you for being here with me.
Down below, I saw what looked like the lair of a necromancer, a wicked and terrible base. Necromancer Bryce must be here in the Ice Spikes. Did he find me here? From day 71 to day 74, I descended the peak of the tallest mountain and began to travel through the ice spikes in the direction of the evil lair. I never expected my history with Bryce would go back so far. I need to find out why his lair is here, what happened to the other ice spiders, and of course, how I can save the world from destruction. And if you want to help me save the world, remember to search Zozo to find more of my adventures. Make sure to tell me what you want me to play as next. Down at the base of the mountain, I wandered through a snowy blizzard, only to be confronted by Necromancer Bryce.
You've returned home, Ice Spider Zozo, but it's not your home anymore. It's my home, and soon there will be nobody home in the entire world.
Your destruction spell will never work, Bryce. Not as long as I survive without being sacrificed. I drew my sword and turned invisible, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Necromancer Bryce only laughed. He was not threatened by me at all.
Foolish Zozo! You don't understand what it means that I am here in the ice spikes. It means that I've already sacrificed another ice spider. My spell is secure.
I froze in place, not from the cold, but from the shock of what Bryce had said. No, you already sacrificed an ice spider, you evil monster! Bryce turned toward the spell and blasted me with a powerful spell that took off almost all of my heart. He was about to fire off another, so I ran away as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I scurried back to the base and immediately shut myself away in the coldest room of the base. I had failed. The whole point of going to the ice spikes was to learn more about my origin. But now, I had learned something that made me feel completely hopeless. The entire world really was going to be destroyed, and there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Never say never, Zozo.
It was the librarian golem. They had come to visit me in my time of regret. But all of the other ice spiders are gone. Necromancer Bryce sacrificed them.
I don't think that's exactly what has happened, Zozo. Bryce was trying to catch you off guard so he could sacrifice you. He still needs you for his place, and when he comes for you, we'll be ready.
The librarian golem showed me a watchtower that had been installed on the base. It would be an ideal countermeasure to any intruding undead sent by Bryce. Thanks, library golem. And you're right, the world isn't doomed yet. Later on, I consulted Illusioner Alan to see what magical spells he had been working on during my travels.
Zozo, I have used all of my magic to create this Kaitha. It is a weapon that will make you unstoppable in battle.
Thank you. That's exactly what I need. The moment I took the Kyther, I felt a great surge of power within me. I grew into the ultimate ice spider, the true king of the ice spikes. I had 100 hearts and the ability to warp short distances, combining that ability with my invisibility to really catch enemies off guard. From day 79 to day 84, I made my way back to the ice spikes, trusting that the transformation brought on by Illusioner Alan's spell would give me the ultimate power, and that the library golem wasn't wrong about there being more to learn about my past. In my mighty ice spider form, nothing in the ice spikes could rival my strength. Some specters tried to swoop down and challenge me, but I effortlessly destroyed them with my ice blasts. I traveled some more through the cold biome of the ice spikes, eventually finding an Icologer native to this region. Hello there, Icologer.
Please, call me Icologer Ike. It's quite nice to meet a spider of ice. There used to be a lot more of you protecting the ice spikes.
So I've heard. That was before the necromancer sacrificed them.
Oh, there was no sacrifice. Your ancestors fought against him bravely, down to the last spider. I kept one of their helmets too. You should have it.
Ike gave me a diamond helmet, which I proudly equipped. I guess there really was more to the story than I thought. From day 85 to day 89, my base was attacked by the skeleton vanguard. I arrived just in time to fend them off with weapons and ice blasts.
Spider of ice, the time has come for sacrifice.
Ha! That confirms it! You still need a sacrifice, and I'm the last spider standing. You'll never take me out. With the confidence I had developed in my ultimate ice spider form, I demolished the skeleton vanguard one by one, until the last of them went running back to the ice spikes.
Spider of ice, your sacrifice will now be done by Necromancer Bryce.
I'd like to see him try. I chased the skeleton vanguard to the edge of my base, where he kept running onward. It was there that I met a fungus thrower, who was standing next to a dugout pool of water.
Oh, please, Ice Spider Zozo! My swimming pool is way too warm! Can you provide an ice blast to cool it off?
Why, certainly, my fungus-throwing friend. I shot the pool with an ice blast, freezing it over. Oops, sorry, now it's more of an ice rink.
No, I like this better. I'll call my friends and we'll play some hockey.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the skeleton vanguard through the ice spikes all the way to the necropolis where Necromancer Bryce would be waiting for me.
Bryce, we need your advice.
As the skeleton vanguard approached the necropolis, it was obliterated by an attack from an armored pillager.
Never send a skeleton to do my job.
And what is your job?
Killing spiders by the dozen. Me and the rest of my pillager crew fought the ice spiders in this area back when they dared to defy Necromancer Bryce.
You mean that it was you who wiped out all the rest of the ice spiders, and you're working for Bryce? I'm going to freeze on you! I fired several ice blasts, but the armored pillager tanked them all and hit me with the same powerful attack they'd used to destroy the skeleton vanguard. It dealt a decent amount of damage, so I warped away to avoid taking more.
I faced many ice spiders just as big as you.
But you've never faced me! Gathering my courage, I warped back and swung my diamond sword into the armored pillager, returning the damage I took and then some. From day 95 to day 97, the armored pillager still wouldn't let up, and I was starting to see that his claims of taking down all the other ice spiders wasn't all talk. My ice blasts weren't very effective, so I mostly relied on my sword strikes to deal damage. My warp and invisibility powers helped me dodge most of the armored pillager's attacks so that I could hold onto my hearts.
Why can't you let me crush you like those other worthless ice spiders?
It's time you learned that those lives you trampled were never worthless. I warped all around the armored pillager and barraged him with sword attacks until he collapsed at long last.
Darn it, you have beaten me. Truth is, you spiders fought very well. I was the only survivor among the pillagers.
If you lost everyone too, why are you being such a mean guy about it? We could have talked this out.
Necromancer Bryce was going to destroy the world anyway. We thought we had to listen to him, or he'd destroy us first. That Bryce is ruthless beyond anything you've seen. After he hired us pillagers to wipe out the spiders, he had them save one remaining ice spider egg, so that he could use the ice spider that hatched for his destruction spell. That ice spider must have been you.
The armored pillager died, leaving behind a key to the lair. At that moment, I realized I had avenged my people. Well, almost. Bryce stole me away, planned to use me for his spell, and destroy the world I've only now come to know. I will stop him! On day 98, I returned to the base to heal my injuries from the battle with the armored pillager. So much had happened since I started my journey, and we were only a couple days from the day that the destruction spell would end the world. But the words that carried me all this way still rang in my ears. As long as I survive, it isn't over. I spoke to the librarian Golem, who was also hopeful about our chances of stopping the destruction spell.
No sacrifice was made, and if you defeat Bryce, he'll never be able to cast another destruction spell. This could be your chance to save the entire world.
I will do it, for the world and for all the ice spiders that fought bravely against him. I wanted to make sure the powers of my magically induced final form were stable, so I went to Illusioner Alan to confirm. Your magical Kyther seems to be working, Alan.
Oh, Zozo, what have I always said? Magic can't do everything. You took that form on your own. My great illusion was convincing you that my weapon was the reason.
Wow, I didn't expect that. You truly are a skilled illusioner, Alan. But I didn't leave the base without any new gear. The gorilla made sure I had full diamond armor for the battle with Necromancer Bryce.
You're a hero, Ice Spider Zozo. I really wish I could have met more ice spiders.
As long as there's a world, there's a way. I'll make sure the world is safe after I stop Bryce.
Go get that evil creep. Remember the path I showed you through the Gravelly Mountains.
On day 99, I was traveling through the Gravelly Mountains toward the ice spikes on my way to the showdown with Necromancer Bryce. I was intercepted by a whole bunch of skeleton vanguards who seemed really eager to sacrifice me as always. Bryce really rolled out the welcome mat early, huh?
Spider of ice, must we say it thrice? It has to be time for your sacrifice.
Even though my strength, my hearts, my gear, and my magic all surpassed theirs, the skeleton vanguards descended on me in great numbers. They're slowing me down. I won't be able to reach Bryce by the day of destruction. I had to retreat as quickly as I could. That's when I ran into the Mountaineer, and he wanted to fight those nasty skeletons for me so I could take down the big boss who started it all.
Go on now, Ice Spider. We climbed the tallest peak together. Now face your greatest challenge with pride.
On day 100, I used the key to the lair and entered the inner sanctum of Necromancer Bryce.
The day of destruction is at hand, and here you are, allowing yourself to be sacrificed.
There will be no sacrifice and no destruction. We traded a series of blasts, his necromancy blast and my ice blast. We each took a bit of damage, then I turned invisible. You crushed my people, but I'm taking back the ice spikes and the entire world from your evil.
You would fight to protect a world that took away your family?
The world didn't do that, Necromancer Bryce. That was you! I reappeared and attacked his blind spot with my diamond sword. He began charging up his most powerful spell yet. It was the same spell he almost defeated me with the last time we fought. Necromancer Bryce let the spell of doom fly at me. I waited until the very last second, then I used my warp ability to move out of the way and appear right behind him. You missed me, and now it's over for you. I swung my diamond sword repeatedly with all my might, destroying the necromancer before he could destroy anything else. This world would live on, and so would I.